He swung on and hit the into right field deep. And you can't forget about this one. Blaze Salter hits number 5, and the Newport Gulls retake the lead.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Gone! A grand slam! To left power, right tower power, and the Gulls walk off in the 15th inning!
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Tomas steps in the bag for 1 out, throws to first, and he's in time, a double play.
Pitch, breaking ball lifted deep to center field, and it is gone! A 2-run shot for Cody Hosey.
A high drive, left field deep. Bolzano going back, looking up. This ball is a 2-run homer. P.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his first season covering Newport Gulls baseball, here's play-by-play broadcaster Stephen Huff.
After improving to 1 game over 500, Newport looks to keep things rolling against the 1-6 New Bedford Bay Sox on Aspire Dermatology Red Sox night. How you doing, everybody? Stephen Huff here, getting you ready for the second matchup in just 6 days for the Newport Gulls against the New Bedford Bay Sox. It was last time out for the Gulls and Bay Sox. Gulls ended up beating New Bedford by a score of 3-1 in a game that went into 11 innings. Last time out for the Gulls, though, it was Saturday against Danbury in a game that went into 10 innings. That game was highlighted by a Zaid Walker 2-run home run early in the game, and then later on in the 10th, it was Walker at the dish again with an RBI single that gave the Gulls the lead and eventual 5-3 victory over the Westerners. On the mound for the Gulls, it was a strong outing from Mike Sansone out of the bullpen, who pitched 4 innings of relief with 8 strikeouts, and he did not allow 1 base runner on the day. On the other side of things, for New Bedford, they are 1-6 on the season, but last time out, they did get their first victory of the year against the Sanford Mainers by a score of 6-1. It's the Bay Sox and the Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls pregame show starts right now.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Nick Bell here with Michael Sansone. Now, Michael, 13 strikeouts last week and 8 in the last game. What did that do for your confidence?
It built a lot, coming into here out of my freshman year. Being in Newport for the Gulls is kind of a big step up from where I was. And so just coming in here and having success early has done a lot for me.
And you just found out before BP started that you were named Pitcher of the Week. What does that honor mean to you?
It means a lot, just being recognized in this league. There's a lot of great players from a lot of big schools, so being able to achieve that honor is a lot.
And is there anything you want to work on here in Newport this summer? You've already had a lot of success, but is there anything you want to work on?
Yeah, I'm just trying to improve on my consistency during the season. I did well, but I just had times where I just had mental lapses and didn't do what I needed to. So just working on that, being more consistent.
And you've been in Newport here for now a couple weeks. What is your most favorite thing you've done so far here?
Honestly, probably just hanging with the guys, going to the beach. There's a lot to do in the town, so I'm still figuring out everything.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you. And the pregame show continues next on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the Broadcasters Roundtable. Stephen Huff joined alongside the Gulls field reporter Zach Letson to my left, and the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, on my right. Now, Zach, I'm going to turn to you first. Newport, 1 game over 500 at this point. They're fresh off a victory over the Danbury Westerners on Saturday. Talk to me a little bit about that win. A huge win for the Gulls.
Yeah, well, you got to look at Mike Sansone, recently named Pitcher of the Week in the NECBL, 4 perfect innings, and then, of course, the clutch hitting from Zaid Walker, a 2-run home run, and then the go-ahead hit in the 10th inning.
So strong pitching performance you mentioned from Sansone, got NECBL Pitching of the Week honors, but you also mentioned clutch hitting from Zaid Walker. Talk a little bit about his performance.
Well, Walker was outstanding. Got to say he had his best game of the season with a 2-run jack in the 4th inning, followed by that game-winning hit.
Now we're going to turn to you, Alex. 1-6 season, but you're fresh off the victory over Sanford Mainers, 6-1. Turning the corner a little bit.
Bay Sox out here today against Newberry, especially looking for a win here today against Newport. Key victory against the Sanford Mainers, 6-1. They finally came out clutch. In the first 6 games, they left 47 men on base, and to win ball games, you can't be leaving 47 guys on base. Out here today, looking to keep the win streak going, looking for their second win on the season.
Well, leaving those guys on base, at least you're in the right situation. So it's showing that if you get in those situations, you'll at least turn the corner and better things to come. And with these better things to come, you guys actually have a really good player that just got here.
Jake Sodelson, he hit 11 home runs, batted in over 50 RBIs this past season for Harvard University. Ivy League Player of the Year outfielder joining the Space Sox team, looking to provide some extra offense in that already really boasted offensive lineup for the Bay Sox here today.
Well, it should be a good one in store tonight. 6:35, first pitch between the Bay Sox and Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the NECBL pregame show here on the NECBL network. I'm Zach Lesson alongside the official scorer for the Gulls, Mike Garman. And Mike, I'm curious to know, how did you get your passion? Where did your passion come from for scoring?
Let's see, well, my father taught me how to score from the first time I went to a game, actually right here, 2008, 2009 I think it was, and I've been doing it. It just intrigued me. It gave me a way to stay focused throughout the game, and I just ran with it. I've just become more and more involved with doing it over the years.
And how did you find out about this position as the official scorer with the Gulls?
See, well, I had already agreed to help out here about once or twice a week in the souvenir stand, and then I was told that the official scorer position was open, and being passionate about scoring, I offered my services for that.
So we're just a few games into the season for the Gulls, but as the season progresses, what are some of the things you're looking forward to here this summer with the Gulls?
I'm looking forward to having this experience of sharing my talents for scoring with a wider community and getting to watch lots of baseball and hopefully gaining a deeper understanding of what goes into running a team.
Yeah, that's great. The pregame show continues next on the NECBL network.
Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the manager show. Stephen Huff alongside the Gulls manager, Kevin Winterroad. And Coach, your team is off to a hot start pitching. 85 strikeouts through 65 innings pitched. A lot of success on the mound so far.
I think oftentimes your strikeouts like that is a product of throwing strikes and being ahead in the count. And that's kind of the only way to do it to be successful.
A lot of success also against Danbury on Saturday. Connery Peters was the starter. He had 9 strikeouts. Then out of the bullpen, Mike Sansone threw 4 innings pitched, didn't even allow a base runner, and he had 8 strikeouts through 4.
You know, that was really positive to see because I felt like when we played Danbury back here, they swung the bat really well at our pitchers. I think those kids did a great job of establishing the inside part of the plate and kind of changing the swings and the expectation in there. Both of them were outstanding on the inside and the outside part of the plate.
So with all this success, you have another guy on the mound tonight, Justin Cherry. The Gulls have already thrown him out there once, but what can fans expect to see from him here out at Cardines tonight?
Justin's a little bit different. He's going to be a pitch-to-contact guy. He's going to throw a lot of strikes, and we're going to have to play defense behind him. You know, his first start was in an awful small park, and he pitched better than the stat line showed.
Well, it's the Bay Sox and Gulls at 6:35. Coming up next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Once again, here's Stephen Huff and the Newport Gulls broadcast team.
Welcome into Newport, Rhode Island at Cardines Field. Stephen Huff alongside Alex Fuse, the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, and Zach Letson, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. Tonight, it's a matchup between the 4-3 Newport Gulls and the 1-6 New Bedford Bay Sox. As here at Cardines, it is Aspire Dermatology Red Sox night, where the first 300 fans get free cups and koozies, courtesy of Aspire Dermatology. Joining us later in the booth, stick around, folks. It is AAA affiliate of the Red Sox, right-handed pitcher Trevor Kelly. He is currently with the Pawtucket Red Sox. He just threw out the first pitch on the field, as you can see now. He will be joining us in the first inning here today. But right now, Stephen Huff alongside Alex Fuse. And Alex, the Newport Gulls are bouncing off a win against Danbury on Saturday, a game that went into extra innings. Of course, our last time together was the first extra inning game in NECBL history with the new rules implemented. And I got another experience with it against Danbury on Saturday in a game that ended 5-3. Really exciting game. Said Walker had a 2-run home run early in the game. It went to extras, tied 3-3. And it was a really exciting game. Connery Peters started on the mound for the Gulls, went 6 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, gave up 1 walk while striking out 9. In to relieve Peters was Mike Sansone. As if that pitching performance couldn't be up, Mike Sansone found a way to do it. He pitched 4 innings of relief, didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a walk. No Westerner batter reached base safely in the last 4 innings of that ball game. And in the meantime, Sansone struck out 8 batters in relief. And on the way to that, the Gulls, Walker already hit the 2-run home run. Then in the 10th inning, delivered an RBI single in extras to give the Gulls the lead. And then they tacked on an insurance run to come away with the 5-3 victory. On the other end of things, I mentioned New Bedford comes into this 1-6. Tough start to the season, but they got over that hump. They got their first win of the season. It's only uphill from here. Alex, they beat the Sanford Mainers 6-1, so a good first victory.
Yeah, exactly, Steven. You know, the Bay Sox finally got their first win of the season. They are now 1-6. They are still in last place in the division, but again, every single game besides, they really only have one true loss, and that was against Martha Vineyard. That was a Saturday game. They lost 11-3. So that was the first true loss of the season.
We'll recap that loss in just a sec. We're going to throw it down to the field for tonight's national anthem.
Now I would like to welcome students from Portsmouth's Melville and Hathaway Elementary Schools to sing tonight's national anthem.
doesn't get much better than that. Singing the national anthem tonight was the students from Portsmouth, Melville, and Hathaway Elementary Schools. And it doesn't get much cuter, can it? I mean, we appreciate them coming out all the way out from Portsmouth and singing the national anthem here at Cardines. But going back to you, Alex, the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, New Bedford getting their first win just the other night against Sanford. Big first win of the season for them.
Yeah, and again, to kind of tie in and do a little recap here, Mike White, who has really been the most consistent pitcher for the Bay Sox this season, pitched another 5 innings, only gave up 1 run. And again, he gave that bullpen a little rest early on in that game, really keeping the Mainers down to only a 1-run score that game. And then Rafe Shamet has had a hot bat all season long. Shamet on the season, 8 for 26, has a home run as well. And again, we're only in game 8. So, and then he also has 5 walks as well. So he is someone that really looks at every single pitch, trying to work the count, trying to get deep into a count against every single pitcher. And then tonight, Julian Washburn back on the mound. We last saw him against Danbury. He pitched in 3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, 1 strikeout. So Washburn looking to kind of make a rebound start here tonight for the Bay Sox. And he's not in the lineup tonight, but the Bay Sox did add a new player to this team. Jake Suttleson from Harvard University joins the team today. He batted .372 with 11 home runs, 53 RBIs, and he was the Ivy League Player of the Year. So he just joined the team yesterday. So again, something to keep your eye on throughout the game to see if maybe we'll see a debut from Saddleson here tonight.
Yeah, some serious talent coming off the bench there. You mentioned Rafe Shamet, one of the more talented hitters in the lineup. I know he's starting today. How would you walk us through the rest of the New Bedford Bay Sox lineup?
So leading off for the Bay Sox tonight, Thomas Blandini, the shortstop. Blandini on the season, 12 for 30, been one of the most consistent left-handed bats. Batting second, the designated hitter, Ryan Markey. Batting third, Rafe Shamet, as we were just talking about, the center fielder for tonight. Batting fourth, really the most clutch hitter of the season, Jeremiah Adams, coming up clutch with a double and a triple so far, driving in 7 RBI so far this season. Batting fifth, the first baseman, giving Alex Brickman the night off, Sam Henry. Henry on the season, 7 for 29. Catching behind the plate, Zach Buck. And left field, Tommy Seidel. And at second base, giving Josh Golson the night off, Brian Hart. Hart has really had a tough time in the field, but has been also another consistent bat in the Bay Sox lineup. 5 for 17 on the season. And then rounding up the Bay Sox lineup is right fielder Elijah Brown.
Starting on the mound against the New Bedford Bay Sox will be Justin Cherry. He already does have a start for the Gulls this season. It was coming against Keene, which is an easy park to get dinged up in. And that's exactly what the Swamp Bats did. He pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 home runs in the meantime. 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned while walking 1 and striking out 1. This year, though, for Rhode Island, he was a successful pitcher. He was a 3-1 record, .293 ERA, 55 1/3 innings pitched. Gave up 25 runs, 18 earned, 56 strikeouts to 19 walks. Now for the lineup for the Gulls, you're looking at Scott Holzwasser leading off for Newport. Second baseman from Northeastern. Following him is Jake Gustin, the third baseman from Bryant. And then in the 3-hole is Hudson Haskin, who will be playing center field. He's from Tulane. In the 4th cleanup spot is the Kansas right fielder Brett Bosick. Behind him is the shortstop from Cincinnati, Joey Bellini. And Ryan Tuhers will be hitting behind Bellini. He'll be playing first. He's from Villanova. Then Justin Henry Malloy, the designated hitter from Vanderbilt. Hitting 8th for the Gulls is Peter Cerruto. He'll be taking care of the catching duties tonight for Newport. And then in the 9-hole is the URI left fielder, Greg Cavalieri. And then, of course, the man pitching against Newport. Who's the pitcher? You already mentioned him a little bit. Give us a little bit more info on Julian Washburn.
Yeah, so Julian Washburn, a product from the University of San Francisco. He struggled with the ERA this year, but has really, this is why he's in this league, to really work on his stuff here. So he went 8-2 in the win and loss record. He had a 5.04 ERA, striking out 39 and 25 walks. He gave up 63 hits. Only 35 runs, and he pitched in over 60 innings. He pitched in 60 innings and 2/3. So in the toolbox for Washburn, we're looking at a fastball, changeup, curveball, and a slider. Washburn gave up 7 home runs as well, so definitely something to keep your eye on. That's really been one of his weakest spots this past season for the University of San Francisco. And, you know, Julian Washburn, this is something that's pretty cool about him is he loves playing in bat leagues. He said it's one of the coolest things to get someone to break a bat on a hit. So, again, a cool thing to get someone to break a bat.
Well, it will be an interesting one for sure. Let's take a look at the weather tonight, ready for first pitch in Newport. Right now it's 68 degrees for first pitch, 40% chance of rain. Hopefully we miss it though. It looks like it will be done by the time we are done. It won't be hitting us until after the game, it looks like. 7-mile-per-hour wind from the south. Right now it does feel like 68 degrees, although up here in the booth, it definitely feels a little bit hotter. Pretty humid.
Yeah, pretty humid, and like I was saying before we went on, the ball's going to carry here tonight. You know, with the humidity here tonight, it's going to be interesting to see how much the ball carries with the fly balls.
And like we said in the opener, we are about to be joined by the AAA affiliate right-handed pitcher of the Red Sox. He's currently pitching for the Pawtucket Red Sox, Trevor Kelly. He climbs into the booth here.
Some difficulty, you know.
We got to orchestrate a lot here.
Yeah.
We got a lot of moving parts as Thomas Blandini is leading things off for the New Bedford Bay Sox. Justin Cherry pitching for the Gulls. Righty on lefty matchup. As Trevor Kelly is jumping on the headset. Right-handed pitcher for the Pawtucket Red Sox, AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox. Trevor, thank you for joining us here today. I know you're a busy man. Is this first pitch to Blandini is in there for strike one.
Yeah, not a problem. Off day, get to come visit Newport, Rhode Island. You can't really pass up on this offer.
Now this one pitch is going to be flown into right. Going back is Vosick, settling underneath it for out number one. Now, you're a Rhode Island native, so it has to feel good not only to be drafted by the Red Sox, obviously that's a huge honor, but then to work your way up through the ranks, and now you're just up the road at Pawtucket, pitching at such a high level, and obviously everyone around here loves you.
Yeah, so when I was drafted by the Red Sox, it was, I really couldn't, fathom, like, ever being, I'd always say, like, I'd give anything to be drafted by the Red Sox. And then when it happened, it was just a, unreal moment for me. Like, just lost it. Like, I cried. Like, being from, not thinking I was going to be drafted. I was drafted in the 36th round. So, it was just like a unreal moment where, me and my wife, got to share. And what was really crazy about that experience was 5 minutes before I got the call, my wife got up, put on a Red Sox shirt, and I was like, are you serious?
It was in the stars.
Yeah. I was like, are you seriously going to throw that shirt on right now? And she's like, why not? And then I get the Boston area code, and
of course
it was really
fate.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be.
Counting out a marquee 2-2, righty on righty matchup. This one.
There you go.
Now pitch in there. 2-2. Now to Markey, but of course you played at North Carolina in your collegiate career in 2013. You guys made it to Omaha. I'm from Omaha, so I know all about the College World Series. Yeah. As Cherry looking on out of the windup, they're going to call time. I saw a lot of North Carolina teams make it to the College World Series. How special was that for you guys? Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, one of the greatest baseball experiences I've ever been a part of. Making it to Omaha is just hard. Like, just, every team has that goal. But to make it through a regional, a super regional, is one of the hardest things that, just mentally as a team, you go through, and if you make it through a regional, you almost deserve to go to Omaha, because you can't really play matchups. Everyone's got to be kind of on their A game.
This
So
one's going to be bunted by Shamet, and Cherry's going to throw to first, but it's an overthrow. And so Shamet is safe at first, and moving up to third on the play is Markey. So runners on the corners with one away here in the first. And of course, along that way, you were facing off against in-state rival North Carolina State. Best pitcher in the nation at the time, Carlos Rodon, who's in the pros right now. Lost to him at first, and then you guys came back and beat him.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Carlos was, had our number all year. And then when we got matched up with him and, the first game of Omaha, we were like, oh, my gosh. This isn't happening. But, we were up for the challenge, and unfortunately we came up short that first game. But then we, we got hungry, and, we came back, and, we knew that we had a shot to face him again. And then, we had Hobbs Johnson on the mound throw, I think, all but one.
Schmidt takes off for second. Throw down.
All but one fastball.
Time. All but one fastball.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. They couldn't hit the fastball. That's all I'll say about NC State.
A little bit of in-state rivalry there.
Yeah.
So you guys ended up beating NC State and had a trip to Omaha. And you said, I know you guys played LSU, and that's one of the fan favorites every single time down there.
Yeah, that was actually a unreal game because when you get to Omaha, you really don't. You hear all the stories and you don't really know what to expect. You want to kind of soak it all in. But then when you're playing LSU, they travel really well. And I mean, that place was all purple and gold, and you just we had our little family section, and that's pretty much it.
Gone, yeah. I tell you
but
what,
it was all LSU fans.
Being from Omaha, I know they travel well, and then because of that, everyone from Omaha picks LSU and chooses to root for them. They're one of the more fun teams to watch.
Yeah.
Now, I know talking to you before the game, you have a little bit of an unorthodox delivery, but you developed that after your freshman year in college.
Yeah. So I got to North Carolina, and I was thrown over the top. Threw hard. Obviously, you throw more in college than you do in high school. So my velo kind of crept back down in low 90s. I was kind of low to mid 90s.
Now this one's going to be lined back up the middle. Bellini with it off one hop, throws to first in time for out number 3.
So I was a little wild over the top. Things didn't click as well as I would have liked right off the bat, and it was close to end of the ACC play, and I had still not gotten in. I've yet to pitch in a college game yet, and I'm just doing everything I'm told, and I was just getting really discouraged, and I was like, you know what, I got to make a change or they're going to cut me, and that's what I did. So one of the series that, the guys were on the road, I went back home and pitched to my high school team, and for some reason I last 4 pitches I threw sidearm. I was like, why not? And for some reason my pitching coach had the radar gun out. It read 88. I was like, that's good enough for me. I'll just go back to school and show them that. A week later, I'm in my first game, and I'm bumping 94 from there. And I'm like, where has this been? I've yet to see it come back, but I think it was just the whole build-up and how bad I wanted to be out there.
Right.
It got me those readings, but right now I feel like I'm in a good spot. And it all came from just college, really working with it and really learning on my own.
So then after you developed that sidearm delivery, you ended up in 2013, like I said, you went to College World Series, and you ended up in the Cape for a summer down in Orleans, right?
Yep.
How was that experience? I know you had a summer in the Cal Ripken League, and then, of course, in the Cape Cod League.
The Cal Ripken League did a lot for me, just because it was my first year really throwing sidearm. So my pitching coach there really had a pretty big impact on where I am now, just because I really haven't changed much since then, because I had a really good summer and just rode with it, and I got to work out with Darren O'Day, Baltimore Oriole guy, and he showed me he got me on the right path. So
another sidearm thrower.
Yeah. So he kind of showed me really gave me a few tips here and there, and a few workouts to really, focus on and what I need to be like thinking mindset wise. So that's where it kind of all started. But then playing up in the Cape, there's not really any other experience that you can put up there for a summer by playing in the Cape. It was a lot of fun. I had a great host family that really made my experience that much better. Anyone that is hosting a summer ball player is just, that's what really makes the summer experience that much better.
Are you still in contact with them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had 3-4 host families throughout my baseball career, and all of them, every holiday, text them or call them. Like we still stay in touch.
That's special.
So yeah, it is. The Cape was a lot of fun.
Well, now you're with the Paw Sox. Obviously, the sidearm delivery has worked out for you. You're with the AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, and this season you have a 1.10 ERA with 28 strikeouts through 32 and 2/3 innings pitched. You've only given up 26 hits and 2 home runs with a juiced ball at that level. So everything seems to be clicking right now.
Yeah, I think our bullpen and our starters complement me in a way that sets me up pretty well, and hopefully I do the same for them. But yeah, the baseballs are another topic, but man,
that has to be frustrating as a pitcher, right?
Yeah, I just try and not miss middle of the plate because you guys, if you get any hitter, really, it's like even the 9-hole hitter, you get their hands extended, the ball is going. But that's what makes me pretty valuable, is that I got that east-west movement, and I honestly can bring a little bit more than that by adding a little north-south into it. It's just a different look. So right now I feel like I'm in a great spot mentally and physically to get outs. And that's what I've been doing, just attacking the zone, throwing strikes, and, working in, ending out, just starting on the plate, ending off. And, you can't really do much more than that, and just hopefully they don't hit it over the fence with those new balls.
Yeah, well, it's been working with you so far, as this pitch is going to be flown into left from Gustin, but coming in is Shamet for out number 1 as Holzwasser tracks back to first. So 1 away here in the bottom of the first for the Gulls. Still tied at 0 here in Newport as Hudson Haskin of Tulane settles in.
Trevor, again, going back on your summer ball experience, what would be your advice to these players? Again, drafted in the 36th round. Everyone on these 2 teams here today, between Bay Sox and also the Gulls, they were probably watching the draft very closely a few weeks ago. What would be your advice to them? This is why they're here this summer, to work on their craft and to get better and improve every single day. What would be your advice to give them this summer?
Probably just have as much fun as you can, because when you're having fun, everything's going well. You're playing. Obviously, if you're not having fun, you're not playing well. And if you're having fun, you're playing well. That's part of it. Everyone gets that. But once you are drafted, it loses a sense of it is a job at the end of the day, and you're always on edge because you really don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Whether I've had friends get released when they're doing really well, and that's one thing that I've seen. Like, just it's heartbreaking. So it's part of the business that you really don't know what tomorrow brings. So have fun today, and that's kind of what I would say.
I like that. And this game is revolving just, up through all the ranks here. This is the first year where they're testing out a new extra innings rule where, starting in the top of the 10th inning, the runner on second base. What, mentality are you in as a pitcher? If you're entering a game, it's an extra innings and there's already a runner on second base. Yeah. What's going through your mind on the mound?
You understand as a pitcher that run on second is unearned. So when I get up there, don't be afraid to walk a guy. Don't be afraid to give up a hit. because as soon as you try and pitch around someone or like try to pitch to not give up a hit is when that run scores most of the time. I've been on that end of things, but you know, I feel like I'm at my best when I got the bases loaded, and you know, if they're not my runs, then I'm more of an attack, like let them hit it, let's see what they have, than they are my runs. So I don't know, when extra innings, it's don't try and do too much.
This one's going to be.
You just got to be more aggressive.
Grounded right back to the pitcher off of Washburn. He tried to field it, but couldn't cleanly. So Haskins aboard first with a infield single as Holzwasser is now in scoring position for the Gulls.
How scary is that for a pitcher to get really a comebacker right to you on the mound?
I don't like that at all. I've had in Lowell it was short season. So right after I got drafted, I had last game of the year. First pitch of the last inning.
You almost got out of there clean.
Oh, my God, yeah. I almost did. And first pitch, took one off the earlobe. Oh. Like, it whizzed past my ear, and I was like, oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Next kid threw down a bunt, and I was already on second base. I was backpedaling. And long story short, gave up a grand slam.
At that point, you were done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you were checked out.
Other than that, like, my short season numbers are, like, kind of in flux. Obviously, like, not as many games there, but that one really hurt me because I was like, man, my like, career stats would have been pretty, like, really impressive if it wasn't for that last game.
Well, I got to ask. I have a couple friends that either are broadcasters or are in independent leagues or in minor leagues low level, and they tell me stories about some minor league or independent leagues, bus rides or this or that. Do you have any stories you could tell? Because I've heard bus drivers driving the wrong way for 2 hours and then having to go back, or buses breaking down and having to drive or walk miles to the nearest town to work it out. Do you have any stories that you could share with us here on the broadcast?
I mean, there's too many really to pick from one. You know, minor league in itself is just one of the best stories ever. But, you know, that what you just said is, you know, pretty much like all of them.
It's the epitome of it all, yeah.
You know, especially in A-ball. A-ball is really when you're grinding every day. You know, you get one bus and you're doubling up and you're having to carry a lot of stuff. You're having to, like, every level there's PB&J, but, like, A-ball is just, like, stale bread and just, there you go.
This one's going to be pulled into right from Vosick, and they're going to hold up Holzwasser at third. So bases loaded now for the Gulls in the bottom of the first with only one away.
Yeah, it's definitely not, you can't really prepare for it because you're like, really? This is... Like,
you go from North Carolina trips to Omaha and then PB&J with stale bread every day.
That's honestly what the hardest thing was. Like, I go from North Carolina to rookie ball, and there's 0 fans, chain link fence, and, like, 1 umpire. Like, I was just like, what am I doing? Is this worth it? And then I go, like, I finished that year, and then I come back to my first spring training. And then I don't break camp. I'm in extended spring training, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, is it really worth it? Do I really want to pursue baseball?
And extended spring training is something else because the pay isn't great, if any.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't be in it for the money because you know you can't really. Like, the money's not great. I will say that.
Right.
It's not.
I mean, it's a serious
you're in it
grind
for the end
through
goal.
the minors, yeah.
Yeah, it's a grind. They call it a grind for a reason, and you know you're in it for the end goal, the dream that you've always had as a little kid, and that's it.
But at the end of the day, it's worked out for you.
I'm trying. You know, I feel like I'm pretty close, and I'm in a good spot mentally and physically, and that's all you can really ask for at this level. And you know, the numbers are there, and you know, hopefully I keep it going. That's all I can do. Stay patient.
Now this
there
pitch
it is.
to Bellini. Is going to be flown into center. Shamet going back, it's looking up. It's going to be off the fence. Coming in to score is Holzwasser. Rounding third is Haskin. Now that Winter Road puts up the brakes, and so 1 run will score for Newport, and the bases are loaded once again for the Gulls as they lead 1-0. As the big left-hander Ryan Tours is settling in at the dish.
Trevor, you're talking about when you were playing in extended spring training, you were going through, do you still want to do this? Now you're at AAA level, on the brink of, making going to the majors. What clicked? What clicked to really set your mind that, okay, I really want to pursue this dream and I'm sticking with baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had it all along. Like, my whole, going back to my college story, it was like I always had to prove someone wrong. And that's what I did. I just, my first spring training, I followed the book that they gave me. The throwing program was, if you do follow a program, everyone's different. No book can tell you what to do. So I really came in. I didn't throw a bullpen until first day I reported. So I was really behind. My velo was down. And, I thought mechanically I wasn't there. So I was like, oh, boy. I wasn't doing well, like in the, the scrimmages or the games or whatever. And, I didn't make a team, so I was like, all right, I got to get lower. And I got lower, and that worked out for a few weeks, and then I kind of kept creeping up in my arm slot, and my velo started rising and rising and rising, and then I was like, all right, I'm back. I'm finally there. And finally, when short season broke, I went to Lowell for a day for a practice, and then they sent me to Greenville. Had a great year in Greenville, and then by the end of the season in Greenville, I was up in Salem for, like a week. And so, I climbed up there. I was off to a slow start, but, I had a really good year then. So, and ever since I've had that, all right, halfway through the year, I make a promotion. So hopefully this year, we're halfway.
We're getting there.
All-Star break.
Yep.
You never know. Wishful thinking.
Yep.
Who's one MLB player you want to challenge yourself and face in the face?
Probably the whole Yankees lineup.
Okay.
I
like that mentality.
They got some big swings, and I like those guys.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't throw that hard, but for a sidearm guy, I feel like I am a power sidearm guy, if you'd have to call it that. But I do have a lot of run on my ball, and I can make it do a few different things. So in AAA, I've had pretty good success to big swing guys, and obviously everyone gives up a few good hits, and for the most part, I feel like I'm pretty consistent enough to get outs there, especially against that lineup.
I like that coming from a Red Sox guy too.
Oh yeah,
you have to have that mentality, right?
Are you kidding me? It's
in your DNA at this point.
As soon as I get up there, I hate everyone. Part of the minor leagues is like, all right, I gotta go through it,
right?
But at the big league level, you not that you're not trying to play to win every single game, but it's more, kind of.
You have to be a little bit selfish.
You got to be a little.
Level.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. You got to be a little selfish in the minor leagues, but then in the big leagues, finally you get back to that win every single game.
Right.
Especially in college, where I love coming in every single game. My senior year, I did it. I feel like I was in every single game. I love that feeling.
Do you miss that mentality a little bit? Because I know a lot of guys in the pros. Listening to some of their interviews, they talk about how they miss those days in college playing for your teammates.
Yeah, definitely. And then once you get up, if I get up to Boston, I'm just going to be so excited. I'm going to want to win every single game. I want to be in every single inning. And, I feel like you won't get that much out of, obviously you'll get it out of a lot of guys, but growing up a Red Sox fan, diehard Red Sox fan, it means a little bit more to me, I feel like.
This one's going to be grounded to first. Throw to the plate is in time for a 1 out. Back throw to first. It's going to be off the glove of the first baseman Henry and into right field. So coming around to score for the Gulls is Vosick. So there's 2 away now and 2 runners in scoring position. Moving over to second on the play was Tours on the throwing error, and over to third was Bellini. So the Gulls now up 2-0 with 2 away and 2 runners in scoring position.
How close are you with some of the Red Sox at the major leagues? Because I know we've seen a lot of, AAA guys move up, recently. So, how close are you with some of those guys?
I'm really close with, let's see, Josh Taylor's up there right now. Travis Lakins is up there. Michael Chavis I'm really close with. We've been locker buddies for forever.
And what a year he's having.
Yeah, he's. I knew he had it in him, but not like this.
Yeah.
They call him the ice horse.
The home runs that he's hitting right now are, I'm not sure if I ever saw him in BP. The way that they're going over the monster is just really impressive. And, I'm just really excited for him. My wife and his girlfriend get along really well, so we got really close there, and couldn't be happier for him. But going through spring training with the big league club, backing up all those games, I got to know quite a few of them, and just seeing them on TV every day, it's just kind of like it's that different feeling. But they're all great guys, really good guys.
And everyone around the majors says you guys have the smartest manager in baseball at the moment.
Yeah, Corey, he's everything that he did last year, it was like you can't really, he made moves that had to work, and he hit on every single move that he made. So right now, the guys are just started off a little slow, which obviously no Red Sox fan wants to see. But if I do know one thing, it's just they're gonna keep battling, and they're creeping up now. So before you blink, they're gonna be 3 games back.
They're as dangerous as anybody, so I want to put it past them. I think my favorite Cora story comes when he was a player. They didn't want to re-sign Pedroia, and it was because he didn't steal enough bases. And so Cora could sense that they were locker mates, and he could sense something was wrong, and Pedroia said, well, they're not going to re-sign me because I don't steal enough bases. He said, look to me in the dugout, and when I say go, you go. And he sent him 15 times, said go 15 times throughout the year. Pedroia got his 15 bags, wasn't caught once.
Yeah.
That just goes to show the intricacies that he looks for, the details he looks for, and how smart of a guy he is.
Yeah, from all the stories that I hear, Corey he's a mastermind of just a lot of little things that go on in baseball, from just picking up signs, picking up, pitchers tipping pitches, and just the little things that can win you ball games in the long run. Those are the things that Cora really does well, from what I hear, and I can only wait to feel that experience with him.
Well, it's only a matter of time. We kept you here for a whole inning. I know you got a busy schedule, game tomorrow against Durham up the road in Pawtucket, so we're going to let you get out of here. Thank you for stopping by, though. Trevor Kelly,
thanks for having me.
Right-handed pitcher for the Paw Sox, soon to be for the Boston Red Sox, though, I'm sure, with the year you're having. So thank you, though, for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So it's now 2-0 here in Newport, as the Newport Gulls got 3 hits, and they scored 2 runs here in the first inning as they lead 2-0 here in the first. Heading into the second inning, 2-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the second here in Newport. This first pitch to Sam Henry is in there for strike 1. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson, as this 0-1 pitch is fouled out of play. 0-2. It was fun having Trevor Kelly here.
Yeah, I got some good insight from him, especially, being a minor league
This one's going to be roped into right field. Looking up is Vosick. It's going to be off the top of the fence. Rounding first is Henry. And booking in and sliding in head first to second for a double.
That's his second extra base hit for Henry on the season for the Bay Sox, looking to add some runs on for the Bay Sox, especially after a tough inning for Julian Washburn on the mound.
So to get everyone caught up, I know we didn't get to call a lot of balls and strikes, but I didn't want to step on his toes at all. I mean, it was a great interview, I thought, with Trevor Kelly. The Gulls do lead the Bay Sox here in the top of the second, 2-0, but after that double to lead off the second for the Bay Sox, there is a runner on scoring position. As now this one's going to be flown into shallow right, backing up his Tours, as it actually is going to be still in the infield, so out number 1. And Kelly's numbers, 1.10 ERA this season at AAA. That's the highest you can get in the minors. 32 2/3 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts. And there is a juiced ball for those that aren't following the major and minor leagues very intently at this point. This first pitch to Seidel, swung at and missed. There is a ball that's being used. Some call it juiced or a rabbit ball at the AAA level and the major leagues level, where home runs are just being hit at an abnormal rate this year. And so pitchers are having a tough time with it. But for him to only give up 2 home runs through 32 2/3 innings pitched, quite incredible. It's this 0-1 pitch in there for strike 2 on Seidel.
So what you're looking for in a pitcher that, if you look at the major leagues between, Red Sox just 5.5 games out of first place, that's going to be a tough race between all 3 teams.
Now there's 0-2 pitch just swung at and missed for strike 3. So first strikeout of the day for Cherry on the mound. Now there's 2 away here in the second.
Brian Hart's hitting lower in the lineup than per usual. Batted second 2 games ago. Brian Hart, does have a tough time in the field early on, committing 3 errors, 2 at second, or 2 at third, 1 at third. But he's been a really good bat in that lineup for the Bay Sox.
First pitch to Hart. Fastball misses up for 0-1. Hart this spring for Bryant hit .264. .481 slugging, though. 7 home runs and 7 doubles. Now this 1-0 to Hart. Fastball swung at and missed.
Yeah, what Chris Pave has really shown early on in the season is not really afraid to putting power guys in the bottom of the lineup. Next guy up, Elijah Brown. 6 home runs, but also over 10 stolen bases this past season. So
now this 1-1 slider looked at for strike 2 over the heart of the plate. So count now 1-2 to Hart.
16 stolen bases this past season for Sacred Heart and Elijah Brown. So again, has some power and also speed here in the lower part of the lineup.
Not only so great all around when you're talking hitter, base runner, but then to have that at the bottom of the lineup, what more could you ask for?
Absolutely. A good setup guy to the top of the lineup in Blandini as well.
Now that's 1-2 pitch is going to be swung at and missed on the outer half, so that strikeout is going to be the second of the day for Cherry, and that's going to end things here in the top of the second. Heading into the bottom of the second, still 0-0 here in Newport. Bottom of the second, Gulls lead the Bay Sox 2-0. Stephen Huff here alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Hughes, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. It is Julian Washburn on the mound for the Bay Sox. He had a rough first inning against the Gulls, giving up 2 runs, only 1 of them earned, off of 3 hits. While he did have the bases loaded, but he was able to work out of that jam. Did leave him loaded to end the first. Leading off things for Newport is the 9-hole hitter, Greg Cavalieri, switch hitter from the URI. Righty on lefty matchup. First pitch to Cavalieri is going to be hard fly ball out of play along the bullpens into the streets of Newport towards the bus stop. 0-1.
Good thing I took the bus here, so I don't have to worry about a busted window here tonight. But you know why? No one should get on Cavalieri's bad side. You know why?
Why?
He has a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah, right. Now this 0-1 pitch misses up 1-1. Now for a while it was I believe a Judon belt I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, which is in between a red belt, I believe, and a black belt in Taekwondo. And now I think he just got the black belt, as now this 1-1 misses outside for ball 2. So yeah, no one should get on his bad side. Not the biggest guy, but still you don't want to pick a fight with him because you don't know what he's going to pull out.
Absolutely.
Now Washburn looking on the 2-1, going to be lined down the line and right, but hooking foul, so 2-2. Did you ever take part in Taekwondo, karate?
I actually did. I actually used to do Taekwondo back in my golden age.
What happened to it? Do you still? No?
No.
What belt did you get up to?
I got to brown. So
yeah.
That's in between. I mean, one more belt up, I would have been a black belt.
Oh, wow. Oh, really?
So
that one's going to be fouled along the first
I'll have to find a Cavalier after the game and
see
if I still got it.
Is that how it works? Is it brown then?
Yeah, brown and then black, at least at the place I was at.
Okay. I don't know the tiers,
because
so I could have been wrong.
Every Taekwondo studio is a little different.
Oh, okay.
So, they have, there's many different forms of Taekwondo.
Now this 2-2 pitch to Cavalier, swung at and missed, but it's going to bounce off the plate and overbuck the catcher. And racing down the line is Cavalieri, so he did strike out, but he is now aboard first safely. And if anyone's going to beat out a strikeout and down the line, it is great Cavalieri.
Look out over there, Sam Henry.
So righty on righty matchup now for Washburn on the mound as Holzwasser is at the dish. Cavalieri on first for the Gulls. First pitch to Holzwasser. He thinks about it. Held back, but caught the outside edge of the zone for strike 1.
If you're Washburn right there, after you struggled in the first inning and then you get the first strikeout, but, it must be frustrating as a pitcher seeing, he reaches.
So now Cavalieri takes off for second. Throw is in time, and they're going to say Cavalieri was tagged out on the feet first slide. So he did strike out, and now he's caught stealing.
Big break right there for Washburn.
And I think it's justice on the part of the New Bedford side that Cavalieri is finally out and sent back to the dugout as a big swing and a miss from Cavalier. Actually fouled back into the screen. So 1-2 now to the Northeastern middle infielder. The pitch to Holzwasser, missed outside on that steal, is now on the 1-2. Nice breaking ball, but just missed for ball 2. Holzwasser on the year for Northeastern, hit .254 to .394 on base. So just the guy you want as a leadoff man. Now he's going to ground this one over to short. Blandini backhands, throws to first in time for out number 2.
And again, Blandini really being one of the most consistent fielders for the Bay Sox this season. Almost every single ball hit at him, it's a sure out. It's been so crucial, and especially after playing on some infields that really have some bad hops. Blandini's really been the strong middle infielder for the Bay Sox.
Yeah, he fielded that one with ease on the backhand there. As now Gustin settles in. He flies this one down into deep right off the top of the fence in the right center corner. Rounding first is Gustin, and he's aboard with a 2-out double.
And Steven, you have to want to know briefly on the pregame, we talked about the humidity here at Cardines Field, and you wonder about the long fly balls if the humidity is going to make the ball travel a little bit more here tonight.
Yeah, and it certainly will make it travel more. And it's just one of the natural effects it has on a ball. Probably the most humid game the Gulls have played in so far this season. So I want to be surprised to see the ball travel a little bit more if they put it into the air as Hudson Haskins settles in for Newport. Watch his first pitch fastball in there for strike 1. Haskins at 372 for Tulane this spring. Off to a slow start though for Newport. Only hitting 194 in the young NECBL season. Now on the 0-1, breaking ball. Misses outside.
Haskins went to the same high school as George Springer.
And actually broke George Springer's stolen bases record. So not only he can hit for power, can hit for average, but he can also run on the base pass as well.
Key spot for a 3-hole hitter.
As now this one, it's going to be grounded foul. Winter Road giving minimal effort. So the count climbs to 1-2.
Imagine saying you beat a George Springer record at high school.
Yeah. He holds he has quite a bit of accolades from his high school in Connecticut. But to hold that one, I would tell everyone I meet about that. As this one's going to be grounded back to Blandini. Another backhand attempt. He drops that one and doesn't offer to first. So that will move Gustin over to third. And Haskin is aboard. I think we're going to rule that one an E6. Or is that one a single?
Yeah, so an error by Blandini.
He is a good fielder. I think since he just came away with that play, I don't think it's too harsh ruling that one an error. Now Vosick settles in. Runners on the corners for the Gulls. With 2 away, he watches first pitch miss low for ball 1.
You know, this is something that we can always talk about. You know, was it a hitter or an error? You know, like we just mentioned, Haskins, you know, beating the record of George Springer in stolen bases. So already out of the gate, you already know Haskins has a speed. So really any grounder into the infield, Haskins is going to really make.
Vosick flies this one, but slicing out of play for strike 1.
You know, no matter what, Haskins is always going to make it really a good play, a good attempt, you know, because he does have the speed coming out of the box.
Count now 1-1 to the Kansas right fielder. Haskin has stolen quite a bit of bags for Newport already as they actually throw over just to keep an eye on him at first, but he slides back in time. On the year, he has 6 stolen bases for Newport. Their leader by a mile as he goes on this one, but a nice line drive catch from Blandini. He might have dropped it, but either way, he was on the bag. So nonetheless, it is out number 3. So no runs crossed for Newport off of 1 hit and 1 error as they leave 2 stranded. Heading in to the third, it's 2-0 Newport over New Bedford here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the third here in Newport as the Gulls lead the Bay Sox 2-0. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, and the field reporter of the Gulls, Zach Letzin, as this first pitch to Elijah Brown is going to be lined into right. So lead off single for the Bay Sox quickly here in the third.
Before that base hit there, Stephen, Elijah Brown on the season just 1 for 13, so he's definitely trying to, you know, he's really been a guy that Chris Cabe has not used him every single day, more of rotating in and out the outfielders, giving some guys the days off. But him really, you have to be careful there because he does hold a consistent bat in the lower part of the lineup. So if Elijah Brown gets hot here, it could be a dangerous spot in the bottom half of the lineup.
Now this first pitch to Thomas Blandini, the leadoff man in the lineup, misses outside for ball 1. For those of you keeping track at home, that hit by Haskin that we thought might be an error, we're actually going to rule it a single that happened in the bottom half of the second, as this pitch is going to be fouled out of place. So 1-1 to Blandini. So if you were scoring at home and want to keep a book of your own, we did switch that Haskin error to a single.
Hopefully they have white out just like I always do. It's the magic wand, and anyone that's doing it old school with the scorebook.
I need to invest in some of that as this throw over to Brown is not in time as he slides back safely.
See, you know, everyone says just use a pencil, but I don't like using a pencil. You know, you got to get the ink.
It seems more official, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Now this 1-1 pitch is fanned at from Blandini, so count now 1-2. Nice breaking ball there from Justin Cherry.
You know, now we're in the third inning. Cherry can now start really working in those off-speed pitches to really throw the Bay Sox off.
Now he throws over to first again, but sliding back in time is Elijah Brown. So already 2 throw-overs to first. They're worried about Brown's speed on first, and he's going to take off. Grounder over to Tours. He fields it cleanly. There is no throw to second. He just steps on the bag at first for out number 1.
Great job by Tours there with the awareness that, okay, you know what? Elijah Brown has speed. You know, there's going to be no play over there at second base. There's going over to first to really take that out for himself to get that shirt out at home at first.
So with that out, there is one away here in the third, but there is a runner in scoring position for the Bay Sox. Now, Ryan Markey settles in for New Bedford. First pitch from Cherry misses low, below the knees for ball 1. Markey this spring for St. John's hit .291, 365 on base with a .407 slugging. Hit 13 doubles. Now the 1-0 from Cherry. Over the heart of the plate, 1-1.
Markey on the season, 6 for 20 as well, so another consistent bat in the lineup again. Really moved up in the lineup. You know, usually Chris Cabe, you put him in the 6 or 7 hole.
So he's going to ground this one along the third base line, but foul. So count now 1-2 to the designated hitter.
Great swing by Markey right there. You know, just got to straighten up, that swing a little bit to get it moving over to fair, but what a solid piece.
He was on top of it,
yeah.
That's for sure. So righty on righty matchup for Cherry on the mound. One away here. The Gulls lead the Bay Sox 2-0 in the top of the third. Runner on second as this pitch is going to bounce in the dirt, bounce off of Ceruto and into the backstop it goes. And moving up to third on the play is Elijah Brown on that wild pitch. And for a team that hasn't caught many breaks this season, that's exactly what you need right now. At some point, the luck and the fortune is going to turn in your favor, and it did specifically in that scenario.
I just did the math, even though I'm no mathematician.
Don't turn to me either. Now this pitch to Markey misses low, count now full.
You know, we're in game 8, and you look at the Bay Sox record 1-6. And again, Steve, I know we talked about really only one true loss for the Bay Sox that was against Martha's Vineyard. But
now this 3-2 pitch line back into the screen. Count remains.
But 59 men left on base for the Bay Sox so far this season, including the 2 already left on this game.
Well, and I looked at your guys' hitting stats, and 252 average, that's 7th in the league. That's middle of the pack. That doesn't reflect the 1-6 record. So it's not like you guys are a bad team by any means. As this 3-2 pitch misses low and away for ball 4. So runners now on the corners for the Bay Sox. That is second walk of the day for Cherry on the mound, both coming against Ryan Markey.
Yeah, Markey really has that mentality when he steps into the boxes. He's not going to really swing at the first pitch. And if he does, he knows for a fact it's a good one to get a hold of. And just like that, Markey is the type of guy that's going to kind of relax in the batter's box, make it his own, and let the pitches come to him. And he'll only hit ones that he has the confidence in.
That was a big swing and a miss from Shamet. Actually, he tipped it back into Ceruto's glove. So strike 1 to the Bay Sox center fielder.
And I don't know about you, Steven, but I'm a big comp guy, comparison.
Now this 0-1 is going to drop out of the zone in over his laces, 1-1.
But I made a comparison about Rafe Shamet, who's in the box now for the Bay Sox. Rafe Shamet, Alfonso Soriano.
I like that.
If you look at Shamet's stance.
Now this 1-1 misses up and away, 2-1.
He has the same leg kick that Soriano had. He has the same pivot, and he also has the same mechanics swinging. I made a video yesterday, just between me and Rafe, side by side, spot on, absolutely insane.
Now this 2-1 to Shamet. He's going to be swung at and missed, gets away from Ceruto, but no runners advance, so count now 2-2. Now I grew up a Cubs fan, so Soriano actually, I'm very familiar with him. He was actually my favorite player for the longest time growing up.
And the funny thing is, same with Rafe.
Really?
He loves Alfonso Soriano. He was like, no way. And I sent him the video. He was like, wow. And then if you really, slow down the video.
Now this 2-2 is going to be fouled off of Ceruto's glove. Count remains.
It's insane of how you know, it's a home run that, you know, Shamet that I have a video of, and a home run that Soriano, and it's same, almost identical. It's insane.
Well, that's a nice piece of analysis there. Well, one thing I'll say about Shamet, looks to be a little less streaky than Soriano, as this one's chopped foul along the first base line. Shamet this spring for Trinity University down there in Texas, 351 average, 424 on base, led the team in average and on base percentage and RBI.
You know, and Soriano was really got all or nothing guy. Really one of the first home run all or nothing guys that we've seen in
an
the majors.
era that it didn't exist.
Right.
He would fit in perfectly now in today's day and age. Now this 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss from Shamet. Looking somewhat like Soriano there. Third strikeout of the day for Cherry. Although that hasn't been Shamet all year, of course. A very great quality player. I saw him play first matchup of the year for in between these two sides.
And that's really the two things about, you know, Shamet and Soriano. You know, that's a bad example because Shamet just struck out. But Shamet has really been one of the most consistent hitters for this Bay Sox team. Before that strikeout, 9 for 26 or 9 for 27 on the season. So again, hitting above 300, has a home run, a couple RBIs.
So now this first pitch to Adams, big swing and a miss there for strike one.
And an interesting spot for Jeremiah Adams here. Runners on first and third. Adams coming up clutch. I know he came up clutch in his debut with a bases clearing triple. And again, another big hit in the last game for the Bay Sox.
Yeah, another U.S. Military Academy guy. Danbury has another one in Ceruto, their catcher. This one's going to be popped up into left, but Cavalieri is underneath it for out number 3. So no runs crossed for the Bay Sox here in the third, as they have one hit and one walk and leave two stranded. Heading into the bottom of the second, the Gulls lead 2-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It's the bottom of the third. Newport leads the New Bedford Bay Sox 2-0 here at Cardines Field. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. With it being the bottom of the third, we're going to send it over to Zach for a look around the NECBL and tonight's game. Zach, take it away.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, so we have 4 games tonight here in the NECBL, of course, including tonight's game at Cardines Field, where the Gulls have a 2-0 lead. As we look around the league, Danbury looking to snap a 2-game losing streak, but currently losing 7-1 to Ocean State. Action in the Northern Division, where the Winnipesaukee Muskrats and the Sanford Mainers are all locked up at 2. That's in the top of the 5th. And the North Adams Steeplecats are taking on Martha's Vineyard. Of course, North Adams having their game rained out yesterday, and the Sharks currently have a 4-0 game, and that one, the Sharks currently lead 4-0, and that game is in the top of the third.
So a couple of close ones. Danbury going on a little bit of a slide. They might be in store for their third straight loss after being the last undefeated team in the NECBL. This first pitch to Bellini catches the outside edge for strike one. Bellini on the day, 1 for 1, singled and had an RBI in the first. Is this 0-1 pitch? Misses low and away. 1-1. Bellini for Cincinnati this year, 298 hitter, 374 on base. Now this one's going to be flown into right. Over to his left is Brown, settling underneath it for out number 1.
And Stephen, after the first, Julian Washburn on the mound has really settled down.
Yeah, he really has out there. I mean, Gulls got 2 hits in the second inning, but they left both of them on base. And just like the Bay Sox, that's kind of been a problem for Newport this season. They've gotten in the situations that they need to be in, but just then the situational hitting, they haven't been able to take advantage.
Same exact thing for the Bay Sox.
Now this first pitch to Tours, bounces in the dirt, ball 1. But I think a lot of baseball fans look at that and see the men left on base, and they see that as a negative. And certainly it may be a concern, the situational hitting and it not being there, as this 1-0 pitch has popped out of play, 1-1. But I see it more as a positive, actually, because a product of a good offense is getting guys on base. And that's exactly what these good teams are doing. They're getting guys in scoring position, on base, and the last step is just hitting them around. They're doing everything right. It's just a matter of getting that last step, as now this 1-1 is swung at and missed from Tours, 1-2, and that's just a matter of time. I think, like New Bedford, they're hitting 252 on the air. That's middle of the pack. The Gulls, ton of good bats that hit well this spring. Those averages are going to equal out, and with guys on base, those runs are eventually going to score.
And I think the easiest way to break down, and you're going to laugh at me for this, but the easiest way to break down by everything you just said in 2 words, that's baseball. You know,
that is
you
baseball.
just can't, you could, I say this all the time, you could have the best team in the world against the worst team, and the worst team can still beat you 2 out of 3.
Exactly. It's this 1-2 pitch, bounces at the plate once again, 2-2 now to Tours. And I think that's a good way to sum it up. That's baseball. Sometimes you're going to hit them in, sometimes you don't. But being concerned about the men you left on base shouldn't be something that keeps you up at night.
If you were consistent, it's bound to turn around.
Now this 2-2 pitch, check swing from Tours, but he went around, so strike 3, second strikeout of the day for Washburn on the mound. And there's 2 away here quickly in the bottom of the 3rd.
Washburn must have to really like that strikeout better than the last strikeout because the last strikeout, runner on base, and then he actually advanced the scoring position. So I'm sure Washburn likes that kind of strikeout a lot better.
This one actually sent a goal back to the dugout. As with 2 away, that'll bring up Justin Henry Malloy.
In Washburn's first start, it wasn't, catching Zach Buck. It was
this one, or first pitch to Malloy, misses low, 1-0.
Catching, Washburn's first start was Park Phillips, and Phillips is currently injured for the Bay Sox. So, in the league, this with how many pitchers the Bay Sox have, and
now this 1-0 pitch going to be chopped over to third off the chest of Adams. He picks it up, throws to first, and doing the splits is Henry in time for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls in the 3rd, heading in to the 4th. Still 2-0 Gulls lead on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It's the top of the 4th here at Cardines. Newport leads the New Bedford Bay Sox 2-0. Stephen Huff here alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. But with it being the top of the 4th, I'm going to send it over to my broadcast partner, Alex. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Stephen and Zach. It's, an exciting game here tonight at Cardines Field, and we're just on the top of the 4th now, and as Sam Henry climbs into the batter's box. Henry on the year, on the night as well, 1 for 1 with a double, a huge double to really try to add some spark in the Bay Sox lineup, but unfortunately did not go the Bay Sox way. So with that base hit or a double by Henry on the year, 8 for 30. So Henry's been really, a consistent bat as well. And the first pitch to Henry is a big swing and a miss. So quickly 0-2 on Sam Henry, the first baseman.
Yeah, and you look at his spring for Southern New Hampshire, 284, 348 on base. So solid hitter for New Bedford, and righty-lefty matchup favorable for him too.
And the 0-1 pitch to Henry in there for a called strike 2, so 0-2 count. And also, Henry doesn't also have that consistent bat, but he's also that fielder. And we just saw the last play, the split almost, one of the, playing first base must be so hard. And the 0-2 pitch to Henry looked at for a ball in the dirt, so 1-2 count on Henry. Henry again trying to, leading off things for the Bay Sox offense, trying to add a quick spark here.
You mentioned his fielding. Last time we saw each other in New Bedford, he played right field, and he had that amazing diving play along the right field line.
1-2 pitch to Henry up high, so 2-2 count on Henry. And that's the thing about Sam Henry. He's really a guy that you can put anywhere in the field. You can have the trust in him that's needed, as well as the trust in him in the batter's box. You can put him in any situation, and he brings the energy right to it. And the 2-2 pitch to Henry, a big swing and a miss. So Henry goes down swinging. So 4th strikeout of the game for Justin Cherry.
And looking at Cherry's performance, I know I talked to Kevin Winterode before the game. Said he's not a strikeout guy. He pitches more to contact. Had good strikeout numbers this spring, but first game against Keene only had 1 strikeout. Kind of struggled. Now it's a hitter's park, but here tonight, through 3 1/3, 4 strikeouts.
First pitch to Buck in there for a college strike on the outside corner. So no 1 count here on Buck.
And what I like from Cherry, he's sequencing his pitches well. You're seeing a lot of curveball, a lot of slider, a lot of fastball, and he's mixing them up well.
0-1 pitch to Bucks. A foul ball right to the backstop. Ready matchup, but you know, if Justin Cherry ever needed to hit, he's also a switch hitter. So Justin Cherry, a switch hitter, but righty on the mound.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated where the switch pitchers, you know, you don't really see those too much. And the 0-2 to Buck is outside, so 1-2 count here on Buck. As we are here in the top of the fourth, 2-0 ball game. Newport Gulls with the lead. And the 1-2 to Buck. Swung on, fouled away. Nice play by third baseman Gustin over there in foul territory. Kind of had to push Chris Cave, the manager, in the very small foul territory here.
Now, he's naturally a middle infielder, so you almost expect that from him at this point over there at the hot
backhanded catch.
Right.
And the 1-2 to Buck up high for a 2-2 count.
Now, it's interesting from Buck. You're looking at his splits. He's the best hitter on the team for New Bedford. Him and Shamet against left-handed pitchers, but against right-handed pitchers, hitting 286 on the year. Now, I know not a lot of sample size, but
2-2 pitch to Buck in the dirt in the left-handed batter's box. So Buck quickly falling behind 0-2, battle back now to a full count.
That's just proof that when guys see the same arm slot, righty on righty or lefty on lefty, it really is a lot more difficult to pick up and a lot more difficult to be successful against. 286 against righties, 667 against lefties.
And here's the payoff pitch. Big swing and a miss, so back-to-back strikeouts. That's Cherry's 5th strikeout of the game. And now here comes the left fielder for the Bayhawks, Tommy Seidel. Seidel on the season so far 2 for 8. He's from Harvard University. So we should really have him doing some stats in the dugout when he's not playing.
You mentioned earlier you're not a math guy. I said
No.
I wasn't either. We should get him up in the booth because I'm sure he could help us out a little bit.
And the first pitch to Saito is up high for a ball. 1-0 count on Seidel. And, you know, maybe I should start sitting next to him on the bus. Maybe, you know, learn some stuff.
That's a good idea.
And the 1-0 pitch. Outside, so 2-0 count. Run Seidel. And for someone that, you know, in a Justin Cherry who's really dominated this inning, falling behind 2-0 here on Seidel.
Yeah, kind of surprising. And both pitches have missed up, really. And he's done well with his control so far today.
2-0 pitch in the dirt, so 3-0 count here on Seidel, taking some practice swings out. You know, and again, in another interesting spot by Seidel there, kind of in a 3-0 count. That's a hitter's count. You're obviously going to probably take the first pitch, so might practice your swings now.
Yeah, and I think it's just odd from Cherry. We've seen him miss low quite a bit. Missed the first 2 pitches up.
And the 3-0 pitch outside again, so Seidel earns himself a walk. So first time he's reached base tonight. So he has a walk and a strikeout on the night, and here comes the second baseman, Brian Hart.
So Cherry on the day, 5 strikeouts, not a strikeout pitcher, and he seemingly had great control. Then that at bat seemed like a brand new pitcher out there.
Yeah, it's only second walk of the night. Now, especially after recording 2 strikeouts back to back. Surprising. You know, 4 straight balls from Seidel.
Just seemed like a different guy. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about just yet.
First pitch to Brian Hart, the second baseman.
Of course, he comes back with a great breaking ball right in the zone. So
Yeah.
Goes to show what we know up here in the booth.
Yeah. This is why, you know, I'm here and not playing. You know, and the 0-1 up high for a ball. A close call right there. You know, that was a close pitch right on the edge.
And he just asked the umpire to that miss. He kind of motioned, did it miss up? And ump said, yep.
And the 1-1 pitch to Hart. Outside, did he go? Yes, he did. So,
and you saw, I don't know if we had our cameras on, first base ump in time. He started to motion saying that he didn't go around, he was safe, but then he switched and said, yeah, he did go around.
So with a runner on second base, 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Cherry stepping off the mound to give himself some time. It's a 1-2 count against this Brian Hart, the second baseman.
And you saw New Bedford's manager, Chris Cape, arguing with the umpire because obviously he switched his call midway through.
You know, this is something that we've definitely seen from a lot of umpires, you know, in the 1-2 pitch up high. And runner going at second base, he out. So they caught him out, Saito stealing. So what a throw by Ceruto behind home plate. But after 3.5 innings of play, it's a 2-0 Newport Gulls lead here on the NACBL Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch.
The New England League is the most competitive.
Welcome everybody back here to Cardines Field as we enter the bottom of the fourth. It's a Gulls 2-0 lead against the New Bedford Bay Sox. Alex Fuse alongside Stephen Huff and Zach Lates on. So the sideline reporter here tonight as the catcher swinging at the first pitch, popped it up in the infield. Blandini calling off in there to record a one pitch out here for Saito. And Saito, I was going to say, the inning-ending play by him, the throw out at second base, catching Seidel stealing. It was what a throw by him.
Yeah, it was a nice throw from Saito, and he's been a guy for the Gulls, kind of struggled defensively behind the plate, at least relative to Colton Bender, who's really excelled. Of course, that was the game in New Bedford, the excellent catcher.
The unforgettable game.
Yeah, right. So maybe he's just been outshined. Maybe struggled isn't fair.
Gustin Cavalier steps in the box, looks at a called strike on the outside corner, so quickly 0-1 here on Cavalier.
But for him to get a guy caught stealing, especially one of the faster guys for New Bedford.
A 1 pitch swung on, hit deep to right field. Brown making a play, and it's going to be bouncing off the right field wall. Cavalier is going to ease, sliding into second base for a big double. That's the 4th extra base hit for him on the season. So just like that, runner in the scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the 4th for the Gulls.
It has to feel good if you're Saito. But speaking of that, has to feel good if you're Greg Cavalieri at the dish. I mean, doubling off the wall in right, pulling that one down the line. He is a switch hitter, but he's more comfortable from the left-hand side, and it shows right there.
And here is Scott Holzwasser. He walked on the night, but also scored, and a victim of a grounder to the sure out Blandini as Holzwasser looks at a called strike. So 0-1 count here on Holzwasser. Holzwasser on the year so far, 9 for 29. And the 1-0, or the 0-2 now. So Cavalier again, or Holzwasser looking at a called strike on the outside corner, so quickly falling behind 0-2.
And his two-strike approach is one of my favorite on the team. Him and Colton Bender, one of the guys that can just find their way out of 2-strike counts.
0-2 pitch fouled down the third base side, out of play. That was a line foul.
And just like that, 0-2 count, and he's still able to get over the top of one and line one down the third base line. Now it was foul, but he was all over it.
You have to start wondering with a 0-2 count here if Washburn's going to test some off-speed pitch. I know he has that curveball and slider. And the 0-2 downstairs for a called ball. So 1-2 count.
But not far off.
No.
Holzwasser, he has such a good eye at the plate. So even with 2 strikes, not afraid to lay off the close pitch because he trusts his eye at the plate.
Washburn set. And the 1-2 pitch foul to the backstop. Running now all the way back to Washburn on the mound there.
And this is more what I'm talking about. This is what I expect from him. Battling back in counts. If it's close, he'll battle, and if it's just outside where he's comfortable, he'll lay off. And then what that does to a pitcher on the mound like Washburn, you've already given up 2 runs on the day, but then you're 0-2 in the count. You think you're going to have a guy, then he battles back, and it's just going to tire you out a little bit too much.
Washburn throws over to second base, but bounced in the infield, going to left field. Saito was going to have to be there to make the play, but it looked like Washburn's foot got stuck on the back rubber on the mound, so spiking it over to where Blandini would be if a regular set infield, going all the way to left fielder Saito. So advancing to third is Cavalier. Not exactly what you wanted if you're Washburn on the mound.
Yeah, it looked like he almost thought about not throwing it, and then he spiked it towards where Blandini would normally be playing shortstop, and it bounced into left center.
So here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit right to second baseman Brian Hart. You gotta be kidding. What a play by Brian Hart, who struggled this season, but what an out right there for Brian Hart.
Yeah, nice piece of contact from Holzwasser, but nice jumping play from Hart to snag that one. That's going to end up in the right center gap. That's going to score a run for the Gulls. Holzwasser is at least on first with an RBI single if that gets through.
And as Jake Gustin steps up to the plate, looks like Chris Cabe is on the mound to make a call to the bullpen. So pitching change here and the bottom of the 4th. With a runner on third base, 2 outs in the inning. We'll send it to a quick pitching change break.
Proud to be the official bet.
And welcome back to Cardinals Field as we are in the middle inning with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Pitching change for the Bay Sox, Kyle Johnson, the righty from Rockville, Maryland, and the product from the Holy Cross. So far, this is Kyle Johnson's 3rd appearance of the season, pitching in 2 innings with 2 strikeouts. Gave up 1 run and 3 hits. And Johnson, does have a decent breaking ball and a changeup that his coach, the College Holy Cross coach, likes to say it's a work in progress. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see Johnson working in his changeup in his last appearance that came against Keene, New Hampshire, and he just stuck with his fastball and slider there. Didn't really mess around with the changeup. So as Johnson makes his way onto the mound for the Bay Sox, once again we are here at the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs, runner on 3rd. And Jake Gusson stepping into the batter's box.
So a lot of fastball slider from him, but on the bright side, summer leagues are meant for development and meant for guys to be comfortable. So changeup might be implemented a little bit because maybe this is a chance for him to get comfortable.
First pitch to Guston is low in the dirt, so 1-0 count. And Kyle Johnson, who has some fun stories, and I always like to sit near him on the bus because him and I will go back and forth for, hours just talking baseball on the 1-0 outside for a ball. So 2-0 count here on Guston. Well, first, I said at the last game, back home, Johnson's a golf caddy. Back home, so when he's not playing baseball, he's a golf caddy. And the 2-0 to Guston, a big swing and a miss, so 2-1 count. And also, his freshman year when he faced up against Kyler Murray, who was a Heisman Award winner, and now we'll see where he lands in the NFL. But he got Kyler Murray, only faced him once, but he got him to fly out to right field. So, Kyle Johnson got to retire a Heisman Award winner.
And first pick of the NFL draft, so he can brag about that a little bit.
Well, that should be your Twitter bio.
Right.
Made
first
Kyler,
thing on the resume.
Yeah. And 2-1, called strike on the outside corner, so 2-2 count. Battling back is Johnson here, so 2-2 count here at the bottom of the 4th. 2 outs in the inning, runner on 3rd. Johnson looking to keep that runner on 3rd as the Gulls lead 2-0. And the 3-1 lined up into Brian Hart. Hart over to first in time. What an inning for Brian Hart over there at second base. 2 highlight reel plays from Brian Hart, the second baseman. So after 4 innings of play here at Cardinals Field, it's a 2-0 Gulls lead here on the NECBO Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch. And welcome everybody back here to Cardinals Field as we enter the top of the 5th inning of play. It's a 2-0 Gulls lead as the Bay Sox are up to bat. And what has turned into a perfect night here in Newport, Rhode Island. Fans, a good sizable crowd here tonight. Fans eating some ice cream as they're enjoying this baseball game here in Newport, Rhode Island. Sun's about halfway set. Lights are making more of an appearance here late into this game as we here in the top of the 5th. In the batter's box, once again, Brian Hart. First pitch to Hart. Looked at for a ball inside. And the 1-0 to Hart. Swung on, fouled. Got a little piece of the wall, hit over to Chris Cabe, but it went right between. He got a little piece of Chris Cabe's right hand there and went right between the legs.
Looked like off his hand, off one of his legs, and into the glove of Guston at third.
And the 1-1 pitch. Hart shows a bunt. It's going to bounce foul. So Hart's going to have to make his way back to the plate. And so what would that be? It would be a 3B wall, and then 3BC for the third base coach, and then also a 5?
A 5, yeah.
A 5. Look at that. And then maybe back to 1.
And then back to 1, yep.
And now we're back to 1. Square 1. Anyways,
on that foul bunt, I don't know if we kept track of it. You saw on the late camera cut there, Jake Guston flying in from third. He picked up that bunt well. Speedy guy, middle infielder, we said naturally, but nearly came away with that off the bat.
And a 1-2. Hart goes down swinging, so 6th strikeout of the game for Justin Cherry.
Yeah, and I think Winter Road's going to have to change his scouting report on Justin Cherry. He said he's going to pitch to contact today. Has only given up 3 hits, and he has 6 strikeouts, so might have to change some things. Might be a strikeout pitcher from here on out.
As Elijah Brown, Cherry set, and the first Brown swinging at the first pitch, so 0-1 count. And this is what the Bay Sox have really done all season long, Steven, and also Zach. I mean, the Bay Sox are not afraid to show a bunt. You know, we've seen it in the past where it's a ninth inning, and runners on first and second, Shamet up to bat, and as Brown looks at a ball in the dirt. So 1-1 count here on Brown. And runner on first and second with 1 out. You have your 3-hole hitter, Rafe Shamet, who's really been a consistent bat, shows a bunt. You never see that anywhere else besides the NACBL. So really it's testing the small baseball as Brown shows a bunt. It's going to make its way foul. So 1-2 count. And it's interesting because, you know, here we are talking about power here in the MLB, especially early on with Trevor, who's, you know, a pitcher for the AAA Pawtucket Red Sox. You know, hitters never practice bunting. You know, it's something that you never really, it's unheard of. Everyone wants to hit, you know, doubles and home runs, but no one ever tries bunting. It's crucial. It's a crucial part of the game, especially in this league. And the 1-2 to Brown is swung on, hit over to second baseman Holzwasser. Holzwasser bobbles it, throws over to first, not in time. So we'll see how they'll rule that. A tough play by Holzwasser. Had a little bobble, but Brown does have some speed.
I think that's an E4.
And they're going to give it an E4. So Brown reaches first on an error by Holzwasser. With 1 down in the inning, it rolls over the top of the lineup, and Thomas Blandini.
Going back to the bunt conversation you were just talking about, what I've noticed, too, is 2 straight guys that they told to bunt, both coming after 1 strike, too. With 1 strike already in the count, they didn't show bunt the first time in the count. Then with 1 strike already, that's when they show bunt when the defense isn't expecting it.
First pitch to Blandini looked at for a ball inside. So 1-0 count here on Blandini. And especially has to throw Gustin off at third, especially falling behind an 0-1 count. When do you ever see, you know, in an 0-1 count they show a bunt, especially, you know, Gustin? He does have some speed, so that's definitely something you have to watch out. Throw over to Brown. Brown gets back in time. Fans here getting a little testy there. It was a close, very close play. Almost throwing Brown off guard over there at first. Almost caught him sleeping. Let's see if we get a replay. Maybe not.
But you're right. After the first strike in the count, that will put the defense back a little bit.
As Blandini looks at a called strike on the corner right there.
So then if you're comfortable with bunting with 1 strike, if you go over that with your team and you're comfortable with that strategy, that might not be a bad one to have because the defense isn't expecting it at that point.
So with 1 out here in the top of the 5th, Brown has a decent size, couple steps off first lead. And the 1-1-2 Blandini. Blandini swinging, fouls in a way. And Blandini is the guy that really does not have a fear of swinging no matter what the count is.
And you like that, especially coming from your leadoff hitter, too. A guy that hit nearly 300 this spring for Southern New Hampshire. And then he's hitting, 400 already for New Bedford in this young season?
It is interesting to compare both leadoff hitters for both of these 2 teams. Blandini has a very different leadoff approach than Scott Holzwasser. Holzwasser kind of beats back and throw over to Brown. Brown is back there, you know, in time. You know, but Blandini really, it's either a hit or an out. You know, you don't really see a lot of fighting back from Blandini. Blandini's more of a contact hitter with some pull side juice in that swing as Cherry steps off to kind of regain composure in this 1-2 count with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Brown taking about 5 steps off first, and the 1-2 to Blandini. Blandini, a soft ground ball up to third baseman. Gustin coming in on and making a throw over. Not in time. They're calling him off the bag. Throw over to second. Brown is there in time. So give that a little base hit for Blandini. Gustin had to really charge that one. That's almost more of a bunt than a bunt hit than the Bay Sox have kind of looking for. A weak, you know, ground ball. Solid, almost a bunt hit right there for Blandini. So first and second here in the top of the 5th with 1 out as Ryan Markey comes to the plate.
Texas League grounder right there.
Yeah, almost, you know, if we were in Baltimore, almost a little Baltimore chop. Almost. That ball must have got, you know, a couple green stains on it. Tough couple bounces in the infield. Markey on the night, 2 walks, and the first pitch to Markey in there for a strike. Some off-speed first pitch there by Cherry.
And we're starting to see that a lot, especially as he works second time, now third time through the lineup. Working his off-speed a lot more at the beginning of the counts.
And especially a guy who he has not retired yet. Both walks and the big swing and a miss by Markey there. So 1-0-2 count here on Markey.
And I think that's something Cherry is doing better in this start than he did in Keene. Sequencing his pitching, I talked about it last inning, but implementing his breaking balls and fastballs and keeping these hitters guessing a little bit more at the plate than he did last time out.
And the 0-2 to Markey, swung and hit over to the shortstop, Bellini. Bellini to first, in time to get Markey. So runners advance, so runners on second and third with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. As Rafe Shamet, the center fielder, steps into the batter's box.
Yeah, and I think that was the right play from Blandini, too. I think some people might have thought, oh, go to second first, maybe see if you could turn 2. At that point, Blandini, Blandini, the runner from the Bay Sox running from first to second, tremendous speed. And I don't know if they could have got him out at second.
And the first pitch to Shamet. Shamet swinging. Hits a fly ball to center field. Hoskins is going to be there to make the out. So at the end of 4.5 innings of play here at Cardines Field, Gulls have still 2-0 lead here on the NACBL Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch. And welcome everybody back here to Cardines Field. Alex Hughes alongside Stephen Huff and Zach Letzen. So as we enter the bottom of the 5th here of play, due up for the Newport Gulls, it's their 3, 4, and 5 hitter, Haskins, Bosick, and Bellini. You know what's interesting, Stephen, as Kyle Johnson finishes up his warm-up pitches waiting for Haskins to step into the box. The both shortstops on both of these two teams, Blandini for the Bay Sox,
and Bellini
for Newport.
Yeah,
and that's like a broadcasting nightmare.
It's not easy to keep straight, I'll say that.
I mean, at least, we have 2 similar names over there at short, so if it's a ground ball to shortstop, it's either Blandini or Bellini. So, I mean, you have a chance. It's almost like, what Italian sandwich do you want here tonight? And in the first pitch to Haskins, it looked at for an off-speed on the corner right there. So, 0-1 count.
Well, it's easy when Newport plays Danbury because both catchers are Ceruto. Now, what the fans don't know, the names are spelled different, but phonetically they're all the same.
Mixed in their first name a bunch of times, and the 0-1 got a piece of them there right on the numbers. Haskins makes his way to first. So Johnson, not exactly how you wanted to start the inning.
Yeah, you don't want to give up a leadoff runner to start off an inning, especially a leadoff walk, but coming in and plunking a guy.
And you have to wonder, I know we talked about him mixing up his off speed, and it looked like maybe that was going to be a changeup that maybe just,
I think
again,
you're right, yeah.
Work in progress, as his coach from Holy Cross likes to say, as Brett Vosick. And the first pitch to Vosick, runner going, throw over to second in time, got him going. So another close play over there at second base, as a lot of umpires here in the crowd at Cardines Field.
There always are.
Oh, yeah. So with 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th, Brett Vosick still remains in the batter's box.
Yeah, we talked about how Haskins, holds in high school George Springer's record for stolen bases.
Pitch outside to Vosick.
And he leads the team for Newport in stolen bases so far this summer. So it's kind of surprising at least to see him caught stealing.
2-0 count here on Vosick, and Vosick swinging, fouls it. Gets a little piece of the net on the third base side.
But that's the second runner caught stealing here tonight, and it's Greg Cavalier and Hudson Haskins, probably the 2 fastest players on the Gulls roster. So give credit to Buck behind the plate. I mean, incredible performance throwing out 2 great runners. Really, I mean, we've seen 2 great defensive games between these 2 sides in their 2 matchups.
2-1 looked at for a ball, so 3-1 count here on Brett Vosick as we are here at Cardines Field in the bottom of the 5th. It's a 2-0 Gulls lead with 1 out in the inning. Johnson set. And the 3-1 looked at low, so Vosick earning himself a walk here tonight. First walk of the night for Johnson. So Johnson really getting lucky on that caught stealing because, if that didn't happen, it would be first and second with no outs. Johnson looking a little, having a little trouble on the mound this inning.
Shaky when it comes to his control this inning. Brought the changeup that he's working on inside on Haskins. And
throw over to first.
And he hit Haskins, and then to Vosick, obviously on the 3-1, missing for ball 4. So you're right, struggling with his control, at least here to start the 5th.
And Bellini earned himself a long fly single in the top of the bottom of the 1st. up high for a ball. So 1-0 count here on Bellini as Zach Buck, the catcher, runs out and talks to Johnson. Trying to settle Johnson down this inning. And you have to wonder, I know he's still trying to work on his off-speed pitch, but you have to wonder, okay, Johnson pitched very smoothly against a key New Hampshire. So you have to wonder, okay, maybe Johnson just sticks with his fastball and slider here, especially after falling in a little trouble.
Yeah, and I think that's what he should do. I think if you're going to work on the changeup, this is a chance to develop it this summer, but maybe develop it in your off days in the bullpen. And then once you're more comfortable with it, that's when you start implementing it into the games.
Johnson set. And the 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike.
Bellini had a great debut against Ocean State, 2 for 5, double in his first at-bat, home run, 3 RBI on the night. Since then has struggled, 125 at the plate, but the spring for Cincinnati, 298 average, led the team in average and doubles.
1-1, almost got a piece of him. So 2-1 here on Joseph Bellini, the shortstop.
So with leading the Bearcats in average and doubles, he was second on the team in hits and on base percentage. So despite the early season struggles, we saw glimpses of how good he can be at Ocean State, and I think it's only a matter of time until he figures it out again.
2-1 pitch, a major league pop-up in the infield. Henry's making a run for it in the infield, so Henry's going to be there to record the out. Both Johnson and Hart made their way over to first to cover just in case Henry couldn't get there. So with 2 outs here at the bottom of the 5th, runner on first. And here comes Ryan Tours, the first baseman.
That Tours, another guy from Villanova, first baseman, 250 so far for Newport. 3 doubles, though. So when he hits it, he has some serious power to his name.
Tours on the night 0 for 1. Reach base on an error by Brian Hart. Johnson set. Throw over to first. Vosik gets back in time. Vosik also does have some speed in it for a cleanup hitter.
Yeah, he's a sneaky athlete. I mean, you look at how big his frame is, and he looks like just a power guy.
First pitch swinging is Tours. Chamet is going to a one-handed leap catch in center field, making Baysock fans here a little nervous, but at the end of 5 innings of play, 2-0 goals here on the NECBL Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch. And as fans here finishing up performing the YMCA Famous Food Dance, we enter the top of the 6th inning of play at Cardinals Field alongside, I'm Alex Reese, alongside Stephen Huff and Zach Letson, and we have a pitching change on the mound for the Gulls.
Yeah, it's actually going to be Jacob Grzybinski. He is a rising junior from Georgetown. And this past spring for Georgetown, he was 1-2 with 8 saves. He had a 4.64 ERA, and through 33 innings pitched, he gave up 18 runs, 17 of them earned. Gave up 30 hits, 31 strikeouts in those 33 innings pitched, so just 19 walks. This is Grzybinski's first appearance on the mound for the Gulls.
Due up for the Baysox in the top of the 6th, Jeremiah Adams, Sam Henry, and Zach Buck. So big backs here. 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Adams only going to be with the Baysox until June 22nd as he has to report to boot camp as he is in the United States Military Academy. First pitch to Adams is looked at for a ball in the dirt. So 1-0 count here on Adams. Adams on the night 0 for 2. Grounded out to the shortstop, Bellini, and flew out to the left fielder, Cavalier. 1-0, swinging, almost got, ooh. Scary play over there for third base coach Chris Cave having to duck out of that one.
Nice bit of athleticism, though, showing that he can. And that had some serious exit velocity coming off the bat, so.
Chris Cave having a few words with third base umpire. Cave was probably like, if I had a glove and a big pop-up. Cerruto's going to.
We hope a couple of fans are okay over here. We see one of the kids fall down the bleachers.
Scary play here at Cardines Field.
Scary play, indeed. So you see the hitter for the Bay Sox, Jeremiah Adams, obviously shooken up. It's obviously not his fault as he takes a knee. The fan is getting attended to right now over here by the first base dugout. So we hope he is all right. He is now standing up and getting a round of applause from the Newport crowd here.
Scary situation here at Cardines Field. And again, these bleachers are not their
Right.
typical bleachers. You know,
Right.
they do have more spacing in between each bleacher, and
Yeah, I mean, it is an old field. It's the oldest field in America, and so the bleachers are older as well. And so because of that, you're right, the spacing is different.
and the 1-2 to Adams is looked at low and away, so 2-1.
And so when people are going
2-2, excuse me,
for some foul balls or just going anywhere up and down the bleachers, it's a little bit tougher to navigate. And
2-2 to Adams, fouled away.
he looks to be okay, or at least will be okay.
And a host of fans here and attendance staff members asking if he's okay. And the 2-2 to Adams. Low, so Adams, you know, working a full count here, and it has to be so tough for Adams. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
it's not Adams'
as the
fault.
hitter,
You know, it's just
you always worry about the fans when
Yeah.
you hit one into the stands, and it ends in something similar.
as Adams works a walk here in the top of the sixth.
We saw something a little bit more extreme with Albert Almora in Houston down there when the Cubs took on the Astros, and he hit a young fan that was later hospitalized, and the fan ended up okay, but it can be very serious. And you're right, the hitter obviously does a lot of times worry and feel responsible, but it isn't their fault.
Henry shows a bunt, drops it down, throw to first in time, so it's a sack bunt as Adams moves to second. Here in the top of the sixth with one out.
Ceruto thought about going to second on that play, but I think he made the right decision. I don't think he would have had Adams at second, a long throw across the diamond. So he made the smart throw over to first for the first out here in the sixth.
Yeah, and Adams had already a sizable lead at first, so it was going to be a tough play at second as Zachary Buck, the catcher, steps into the batter's box. First pitch to Buck, low inside, so 1-0 count here on Zach Buck. Buck on the season, 5 for 17, 2 extra base hits, 2 RBIs. Popped up to the first baseman, tours in the top of the second, and struck out in the fourth. So here at Cardines Field with one out in the top of the sixth, Adams on second base. Buck up to bat for the Bay Sox. Buck swinging, lines 1-2. Left fielder Cavalier to make the play, so 2 away here in the top of the sixth.
And that's a tough one to judge if you're Cavalieri. Obviously, you got to play the lights a little bit because that's a low hanging line drive. It might get caught up there and blend in, but he played that well, kind of waited to see what the ball's going to do, and ended up in his mitt. Was really calm with that one. That's what they love about him. He tracks the ball well and takes efficient routes when it's in the air.
And here's Tommy Seidel, the left fielder. Seidel looks at for a ball. Seidel on the night, 0 for 1 with a strikeout, but walked. Was a victim of a great throw by Ceruto. Caught him stealing in the fourth. And the 1-0 to Seidel's fouled away.
So with Grzybinski coming into the game out of the bullpen for the Gulls, that'll end the day for Justin Cherry on the mound. Went 5 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks while striking out 6.
So with Grzybinski set, Seidel set, and the pitch low downstairs, so 2-1 count. Here on Seidel. 2 for 8 on the season. Saito again kind of that fourth outfielder that kind of works his way in to the outfield, giving Markey a half night off, designated hitting tonight, as Seidel looks at for a ball inside. So 3-1 count here on Seidel.
And if you're a player, would you rather, how would being the designated hitter affect you? Would you like a full night off? Would you be okay with just being the designated hitter? Because you're not in the game completely, but you're getting at bats.
3-1 pitch to Seidel. Strike on the outside corner, so Seidel working into a full count here. You know, I think it depends on if I'm a hitter, how am I hitting?
Oh, certainly.
And you know, if I'm really killing it at the plate, I want to hit. But if I'm struggling and tired, as a payoff pitch to, another scary play. Almost got a piece of him over there. Line foul right into the stands. Hopefully he's okay.
And I think a lady came away with it and was waving the ball, saying that she is all right.
Okay. Oh. And the full payoff pitch popped up out of play. But it also depends, you know, these players have played full college seasons.
Yeah.
And really only getting maybe a week or two off. And then if you played in the college, playoffs, then you really only get a couple days off. And, we're already in game 8. So, again, to answer your question, depends how I'm feeling, how I'm hitting. And, again, the payoff pitch to Seidel. Low in the dirt, so the ball gets away from Ceruto as Adams is going to move to third on a wild pitch.
Now you're going to see a meeting between Grzybinski and Ceruto as Ceruto walks out to the rendezvous point at the mound. Pats Grzybinski on the back. Now Ceruto back behind the dish. I think they're just talking about the control and just calming Grzybinski down there a little bit after he lost that one.
So with first and third here in the top of the 6th, 2-0 Gulls.
And out comes the pitching coach for the Gulls, Greg Zachrison, just to make sure everything is okay between Grzybinski on the mound and Ceruto, the catcher for Newport.
Yeah, and that walk to Seidel was the second walk of the inning.
And, of course, that means second of the day for Grzybinski. He has only pitched here in the 6th, and it is his first appearance on the year for Newport.
And with Brian Hart coming up to the plate, 0 for 2 on the night with 2 strikeouts, but 3 plate appearances.
And it's interesting because Grzybinski, 31 strikeouts to 19 walks, so he wants to get that ratio up a little bit more, but it's not 1-to-1. It's not something super concerning at this point, so I don't think the walks are something that is a red flag yet.
First pitch to Hart, low in the dirt, so 1-0 count here on Brian Hart, and this is a key moment for the Bay Sox. Runners on first and third, 2 outs in the top of the 6th. You're down 2-0 here in the game, and the 1-0 in there for a call strike right down Main Street right there. Hart decided, no, I'm not going to swing. So 1-1 count here on Brian Hart.
Hart. If you're Brian Hart, I don't mind him laying off.
1-1, foul to the backstop. Almost got a piece of the camera there.
Laying off that first pitch. I like him attacking there, but on that first pitch that was right over the plate, it was a struggling pitcher that couldn't find the zone. So I know it was over the plate, but laying off that first one and then back on the 1-1 attacking, that's when you should be attacking, now that he can find the zone.
1-2 to Hart, up high for a ball. Adams looks like he was about to go home on that one. Maybe if it got past Riddle, but the backstop isn't that far away from home plate.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room here.
2-2 count to Hart, fouled away. So again, Hart staying alive here. And the bottom, or the top of the 6th, excuse me. Runners on first and third, 2 outs.
And it's interesting, 2 outs, and Seidel was taking off for second on the pitch.
I mean, since when do you see a hit and run attempt, in theory, with 2 outs? That's just. And the 2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did go around. So at the end of 5.5 innings of play here at Cardinals Field, it's 2-0 Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cardinals Field. Alex Hughes alongside Stephen Huff and Zach Letzon as we are entering the bottom of the 6th inning of play. Due up for the Gulls, Malloy, Ceruto, and Cavalier.
And I think Malloy's one of those guys, Vanderbilt guy, and he's just a bat that's going to get going at some point. Major League scouts are looking at him, have looked at him for a while. Obviously, he's going to Vanderbilt for a reason. They love his blend of power at the bat, but also his speed on the base paths. And just look at his frame at the plate, too.
First pitch to Malloy gets past Buckhead, the catcher, so 1-0 count here on Malloy. Malloy in the night walked in the first. It's part of the first inning rally. Really the only offensive part as a 1-0 up high. Almost got a piece of him. Malloy had to duck out of that one. Almost got a piece of his helmet. So a 2-0 count here on Malloy. Malloy walked in the first and was a victim of a great play by both Adams and Henry. Henry with a split over there at first to get the out. Up high for a ball, so 3-0 count here on Malloy.
And Malloy hitting .222. Now he's only played a couple games for Newport this season. Also made his debut against Ocean State. But he's worked a walk here tonight, might work another here.
3-0 pitch in there for a called strike. So 3-1 here on Malloy. Justin Henry Malloy, the designated hitter.
Justin Henry Malloy, hyphenated first name. And I think that's a strong name, too.
Yeah, Justin Henry Malloy, you know, and the 3-1. Big swing and a miss, so 3-2 count here on Malloy. Great job by Johnson by battling back there, 3-0.
Yeah.
Working back here to a full count. And as the Gulls mascot is playing around with the feet of the cameraman up high, so Malloy earns himself his second walk of the night. Also the second walk of the night for Johnson.
That was goalie messing around with Nick Bello, our cameraman for tonight. Nick has been our field reporter for most of the season. Now him and Zach will rotate roles either as cameramen or field reporters, kind of guys that can do it all, as you see Nick there. He was just being harassed by goalie, one of the mascots for Newport.
And here is Peter Serrato, looks at a ball in the dirt.
Of course, it's Red Sox night here at Cardine. So
yeah,
not only is goalie and goalie junior here, but Wally, Tessie, Paws, and Big League Brian. We got some Red Sox and Paw Sox mascots joining us.
Oh, it was a fun night at the park. And the 1-0 pitch, low. So 2-0 count.
I tell you what, pregame, you know, I had to go down on the field, get some interviews. I met Trevor Kelly down there before. Big League Brian, he was on stilts, and I had to squeeze past him, and it was a chore and a half trying to get around him.
2-0, popped up to the right field. Brown is going to be there to, did he make it? No, he did not. So already advancing to second is Ceruto in there for a double. Moving to third is Malloy. What an effort right there by Brown. You know, we couldn't really see. We were in a bad angle there as Chris Cabe slowly walks out to the mound to look like going to make a call to the bullpen here for the Bay Sox as we are here in the bottom of the 6th. Runners on second and third, no outs. And this call to the bullpen brings in a quick timeout here at Cardines Field as we are in the middle of the 6th inning of play. Runners on second and third, no outs. Here on the NECBL Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch. And welcome back to Cardines Field. We are here in the bottom of the 6th. Runners on second and third, no outs, and this pitching change by the Bay Sox brings in Matthew Thomas, the right-handed pitcher from Scottsdale, Arizona, product of Trinity University down in Texas. Thomas so far this season has pitched in 2 games, in 2 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits, not giving up a run yet. Thomas in a tough situation here in the bottom of the 6th and a 2-0 Gulls lead. So runners on second and third, no outs as Gustin Cavalier, the left fielder, reached base twice with a strikeout and a double.
Going back to that double from Ceruto down the line and right, that's a tough play for visiting outfielders to make because they're going up against a brick wall there in right against the warehouse.
First pitch to Cavalier in there for a called strike.
There's weird dimensions. It's like a little square rectangle that's a kick out in right field, and then when you're running over there, like I said, a brick wall that you have to worry about as you're trying to make a play.
0-1 pitch to Cavalier. Low, so 1-1 here on Cavalier. And exactly, and this is the first time that the Bay Sox have come to Cardinals Field, so if you're an outfielder, you've never really worked, unless you were here last year, you've never worked in the 1-1. Swung on, hit over to second baseman. Hart charging, makes the play over at first, gives a little look over to third, but Malloy sticks to third, so nice job by Hart making sure that the runner does not go home and getting the out.
Yeah, nice job to look back the runners, but Brown on that double can't be running full speed because he can't be running into the brick wall full speed and still make the play. So that's why it's an advantage for the Gulls, because they're more comfortable in that outfield, and that play that maybe could be an out turns into a double the other way on the offensive end.
Top of the lineup here for the Gulls as Scott Hosewasher looks at a called strike. Another first pitch, off-speed pitch. So 0-1 count here on Hosewasher. Hosewasher on the night 0 for 2 with a walk. Was a victim of a direct line out to Brian Hart as it's a ball upstairs. So 1-1 here on Hart. On Hosewasher, excuse me. And the 1-1 popped up to the outfield. Seidel is going to be there to make the out. Runner tagging, and the throw home is not going to be in time. So the sac fly and an RBI for Scott Hosewasher as the Newport Gulls take a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you ask your hitter to do. If you're the head coach of the Gulls, Kevin Winterroad, sac fly in that situation, extend the lead by just 1 run. Smart hitter in Hosewasser, and he does just that. Sacrifice fly to left. And we were talking about Justin Henry Malloy. They love his bat down there in Vanderbilt, but they also love his blend of speed, and he shows it off there on the sac fly, racing down the line at third to extend the lead. 3-0 now Gulls.
First pitch to Jake Gustins in there for a strike on the outside corner. So Malloy scored. Ceruto sticks to second base. So here were 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. It's a 3-0 Gulls lead, and the pitch swung on, hit deep into center field. Chement making a run for it is going to be there to make the play. So at the end of 6 innings of play here at Cardinals Field, 3-0 Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcasting Network, powered by Stretch. Welcome back to Cardinals Field. Alex Fuse alongside Stephen Huff and Zach Letson, and stepping up to the microphone for the last 3 innings of play, and, well, we'll see here at Cardinals Field. Stepping up to the microphone, the voice of the Newport Gulls, Stephen Huff.
Thank you, Alex. And actually on the mound is a new pitcher for Newport. It's actually Dylan Brown, freshman out of Cal State Fullerton. Just finished his freshman year at Cal State Fullerton. He's a rising sophomore. This past spring for Cal State Fullerton, he was 3-1 with 3 saves, had a 2.06 ERA through 35 innings pitched. Gave up 11 runs, 8 of them were earned, had 33 hits while having 13 strikeouts to just 7 walks. Now he does already have an appearance for the Gulls this summer. Came against the Ocean State Waves. He did start that game. He had 3 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, while walking 3 and striking out none. So not the greatest performance that he probably would have liked against Ocean State. Gave up those 4 runs, but really the first 2 innings were fantastic. He works low in the zone, kind of reminds me of Kyle Hendricks. Works low in the zone, doesn't wow you with his velocity or anything, but he has great downward late movement, and that creates a lot of weak contact. But then in the 3rd inning, that last inning he pitched against Ocean State, that's when they dinged him up a little bit, and he started leaving stuff up in the zone. But if he's able to control his stuff and control his spots, He's a really valuable pitcher.
Key part of the lineup here, especially for the Bay Sox. 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up.
This first pitch to Elijah Brown. Just missed for ball 1. Now the 1-0 to Brown. On the bottom edge, swung at and missed. Half swing from Brown, but he went around, so count now 1-1.
Definitely something that Brown's working at this summer is to see more pitches.
Righty on lefty matchup. Another pitch low in the zone, and they're going to say Brown went around on another check swing. He didn't agree with it, but he doesn't have much of a say, so count now 1-2.
That's a tough situation. Brown thinking he definitely did hold up.
Now on the 1-2 from Dylan Brown, and it's going to miss low and away for ball 2. So Brown on Brown matchup, righty on lefty for Dylan Brown on the mound. He's looking on to Elijah Brown at the plate. Cal State Fullerton righty delivers another pitch low in the zone that swung on and missed for strike 3. Dylan Brown's first strikeout of the day, and it came against the first batter he faces. So with Dylan Brown coming in for relief for Newport, that will officially end the day for Jacob Grzybinski. He came in out of the bullpen, pitched 1 inning of relief, did not give up a hit or a run, but did walk 2 while striking out none. Now this first pitch to Blandini, the leadoff man for New Bedford, misses low and away for
Something to definitely watch late in the game. Blandini has definitely shown that if it's a strike, he's swinging, no matter what the count is. He kind of loses that first leadoff hitter mentality.
Now this 1-0 pitch going to be chopped over in between first and second. Nice backhand play and actually right field from Holzwasser. Throw to first, not in time though. Speedy Blandini beat it out easily. So 1-out single will bring up Ryan Markey. Blandini, nice piece of hitting there. And that's what you expect from the leadoff man, but especially from Blandini. Second on the team for Southern New Hampshire in average and hitting .400 coming into this game for New Bedford.
Been a key spot in the top of the lineup for the Bay Sox. The mainstay in the top of the lineup has hit in the leadoff spot the entire season so far.
So now Marquis settles in, watches the first pitch miss low from Brown. 1-0.
Markey, another key hitter for the Bay Sox.
0 for 1 on the night, but he has reached base twice, worked a walk in the first and worked another walk in the third. So now this 1-0 pitch slider over the heart of the plate. 1-1.
Markey's a guy that he does look at some stats every now and then, but, this is their life.
Now the throw to first. Little off base, but no tag applied, so Blandini back safely.
We were talking with, Trevor, the pitcher for the Pawtucket Red Sox earlier today. It's a little dramatic to say life or death, for these baseball players, but.
This pitch misses low and in the dirt. Nice block from Ceruto, so 2-1.
But the NSCBL, the second, best summer league baseball in, the country, this is a huge spot for these hitters, and especially to really get these opportunities unlike anywhere else.
Yeah, you're right. Not only is this their dream, but this is an opportunity for them to relay that dream into their job and living. Now this 2-1 is going to be swung at and missed from Marquis. Count now even at 2. And that's kind of what you saw Trevor Kelly do at North Carolina, a big school just like all these guys are coming from. He did it at the Cal Ripken League and then went to the Cape. And that's almost identical to the same track record that all these guys have. Now this 2-2 pitch slider misses just outside, so count now full. And you look at Trevor Kelly, picked in the late 30s. Some of these guys have been picked in the late 30s. Some of these guys will be picked in similar rounds or higher rounds, but that just goes to show that all of them can make the pros someday.
Hudson Haskins, drafted in the 39th round for the Athletics.
Now this 3-2 pitch is going to be lined into right, rounding second, heading for third is Blandini. He will get there safely standing up, so runners on the corners with 1 away here in the top of the 7th for the Bay Sox. Goals lead the Bay Sox 3-0, as now be a meeting on the mound for Ceruto and Dylan Brown. But you're right, there's a couple of goals already that were drafted in the late 30s, and there's just an opportunity for them to get drafted higher later on, and some of these guys will be drafted later rounds, middle rounds, early rounds, both on the Bay Sox and the Gulls. And just like Trevor Kelly, are going to have to grind it out and make the best of that opportunity like they are here this summer.
Huge spot right here for Rafe Shamet.
Now this righty on lefty matchup to Shamet. Going to be grounded foul along the third base line. 0-1. Tonight's attendance in Newport, 2,279 for Aspire Dermatology Red Sox night.
A lot of youngsters in the crowd. Got to get an autograph from Trevor Kelly.
Now this pitch misses low and in between the legs of Ceruto, but holding up at third is Blandini, but moving up on the play is Markey. So that wild pitch will put 2 runners now in scoring position for the Bay Sox in just a 3-run game. Great opportunity for New Bedford to get back into this one. Shamet, the tying run at the plate here in the top of the 7th. Righty on lefty matchup. Dylan Brown looking on out of the stretch. Delivers a 1-1 pitch that misses low and away. 2-1. Dylan Brown working from the third base side of the rubber. And you see already early on, almost works exclusively at the bottom half of the zone. Now he comes back in. This one working up towards the middle of the zone, but it's going to be popped in shallow left, and Bellini backtracks into the grass for out number 2.
Sound like a almost broken bat.
And that's what Dylan Brown does so well. Late movement that creates that weak contact, because Shamet almost got the barrel on it, but that late movement created that near broken bat.
You know, Shamet really, put all his power into that only, and he pop up to Bellini over there at short, but I thought it was going to maybe almost create some trouble in between, the left and center fielder and Bellini at short.
So now Jeremiah Adams settles in. Slider misses outside for ball 1. I tell you what, Dylan Brown and his style selfishly is one of my favorites in this day and age, because you hear so much about velocity and just pitchers overpowering hitters in this day and age of high strikeout rates and high home run rates. This one's going to be popped up straight up in front of the plate. Ceruto looking for it, and Dylan Brown fielding it himself for out number 3. I'll finish my thoughts on Dylan Brown in the top half of the 8th. But here in the 7th, heading to the bottom of the 7th, it's 3-0 Gulls over New Bedford here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It's stretch time here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. The Gulls lead the Bay Sox 3-0. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson. And it's the bottom of the 7th, so Zach, I'm going to turn to you once again. Taking a look around the NECBL, catch us up to date on tonight's games around the league.
Yeah, thanks, Steven. So we have the Danbury Westerners taking on the Ocean State Waves. Of course, Danbury riding that 2-game losing streak, and Ocean State is indeed in command of this one. In the bottom of the 6th, it's a 9-4 lead for the Waves. As we look around the league, in the Northern Division, Sanford looking to get a grasp on their their 3rd win of the season, with a late, tight 3-2 lead over the Winnipesaukee Muskrats. And the other game in tonight's action, the Martha's Vineyard Sharks with a 6-4 lead over the Steeplecats of North Adams. Steeplecats, of course, looking to continue their lead across the North Division, and that game is in the top of the 7th.
So another group of close games as this first pitch to Hudson Haskin misses up and away for ball 1. Looking at that one, though, like I said, Ocean State 9-4 over the Westerners. So Westerners, last team to be undefeated in the NECBL, now might be on a 3-game skid. This 1-0 pitch pops straight up, and coming back into the stands it goes. As we wait to hear a drop, we don't. It might be going over to the fire station, so 1-1. And then the Steeplecats, might be falling here tonight. Down 6-4 to the Vineyard. Now, you've been to the Vineyard, Alex. It seems beautiful.
Beautiful park at the Vineyard.
Now this 1-1 in there for Haskin. 1-2. That trip, how's the trip over? I've heard it's going to be something else. I haven't experienced it yet.
It is something.
Now this 1-2 going to be flown out of play into the streets of Newport along the right field side.
Look out.
Yeah, look out indeed.
Imagine if you're driving down here in Newport and you're just minding your own business.
Baseball through
boom,
the windshield.
right through the windshield. That'll wake you up. Anyways.
Now this 1-2 broken bat right back to Thomas on the mound. He picks it up and throws the first in time. He picks the ball up and throws the first. Over to get the bat is Blandini, and he's going to walk it over to the hockey-style dugouts, and he's actually going to hand it over to assistant coaches of the Gulls.
Tonight's been a dangerous night, both in the stands and on
Everyone
the
has
field.
to watch out, even in the streets.
Yeah. Look out. Oh, boy.
I mean, it's a great day to be at the field, but, I mean, you got to have your head on a swivel, that's for sure.
Always being alert at the field. But getting back to your question about the trip to Vineyard.
This first pitch to Vosick, just a bit outside, 1-0.
We took the 2:30 ferry over to Vineyard, and, all the players, I was with the players on the boat, and the captain had to go over the loudspeaker. You know how you can bring your car.
Now this 1-0 is going to be grounded over to the second base side. Hart fields and throws the first for out number 2.
So you bring your car on the ferry, and when you arrive to the Vineyard, you can take your car off the boat and drive around in the Vineyard. But this guy and he or she, it was never really announced, but I still engraved in my head. A blue BMW. Their alarm was going off. The captain had to announce it at least 10 times over the loudspeaker.
This first pitch to Bellini skips at the plate and over the top of Buck. 1-0.
And if I was a captain, having to ask for the owner of the blue BMW to please come to turn your car alarm off, after the 10th time, I would say the blue BMW is now in the water.
Yeah, I would have driven it off as well. As this 1-0 pitch misses low. 2-0.
Unbelievable. And you could hear the frustration in the voice every single time, and more laughter on the boat, looking around. And then if you're that person sitting there, you're like, oh, no.
This 2-0 pitch catches the outside edge, 2-1.
Like, imagine you're there by yourself and listening to some, some music, and then, everyone is just getting laughy, and then you hear, and then, that's you. That would happen to me.
This 2-1 pitch to Joey Bellini is going to be flown into center, but Chamet is there for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls in the 7th, and a great story from Alex Fuse about his trip to the Vineyard. Heading into the 8th, the Gulls lead the Bay Sox 3-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It's top of the 8th here in Cardines. The Gulls lead the Bay Sox 3-0. There's a new pitcher on the mound for the Gulls, Sam Jacobsack. He is from Northeastern in 2019 for Northeastern. And a 5.34 ERA through 32 innings pitched. Gave up 27 runs, 19 of them earned, 37 strikeouts in those 32 innings pitched, with 17 walks. And then this season for the Gulls, he's appeared in 2 games, pitched 4 innings, and has not given up a run. He's only given up 3 hits in those 4 innings, and has had 7 strikeouts along the way with no walks in those 4 innings. So he's had a really solid start to the summer as a Newport Gull. And of course I teased a story I was going to say about how much I love Dylan Brown's style, as this first pitch to Sam Henry is flown out of into the screen, 0-1. And of course Kevin Winterroad had to pull him out of the game. He must have heard me and he didn't want me to say anything about him. Jacobsack looking on to Henry, blows a fastball right by him, so 0-2.
Well, I'm looking forward to the story when eventually we'll hear it, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, Winterroad can't stop me. I mean, him and I get along quite well pregame, and so I know he had it out to get me. As now this breaking ball from Jacobsack catches Henry looking for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Jacobsack on the mound. 8th of the day for the Gulls.
What an unbelievable pitch right there by Jacob Set. That was like unbelievable.
I mean, it didn't start over the plate, didn't look like it was going to come across the plate, but had late movement and ended up just in time breaking over the plate for strike 3. So now this first pitch foul tipped in to Ceruto's glove off the bat of Zach Buck. Buck on the day 0 for 3 with the strikeout.
Buck having some words with Ceruto there, definitely knowing
What
how
it's
that
like,
feels
yeah.
being a catcher himself. You know, I'm sure in that situation, Buck's like, yeah, it is what it is.
Now, what I was saying about Dylan Brown, he's a guy that doesn't have a lot of velocity, works only in the lower half of the zone, has a lot of late movement to him. You don't see that. That's a dying breed in this game. Nowadays, all you see is high-velocity guys trying to get strikeouts. And I feel for those pitchers because they're undervalued, I feel. But guys like Kyle Hendricks, that nearly won NL Cy Young Award a couple years ago, there's some serious value there, and these guys have a lot of talent. Now this 0-1's going to be half swing, check swing, foul, 0-2. And seeing those guys succeed when really no one thinks they can in this era, I love nothing more than that because I think they deserve that success on the mound.
You know, it almost goes back to like our previous conversation.
Now there's 0-2, another breaking ball catches. Buck swinging for strike 3, so Jacob Sack has seen 2 batters, and he sent them both down back to the dugout off of strikeouts.
You know, the contact hitter in baseball is so almost unheard of. It's almost like home runs or nothing. So it's similar with that. You know, and especially, you know, if we go into, you know, with the rule changes in the MLB level next season where you have to leave a relief pitcher on the mound for at least 3 batters, if you're a lefty specialist.
Now this first pitch, big swing and a miss from Seidel for strike 1.
You know, you're almost forced in a tough situation if you're a lefty specialist in the MLB. It's almost like scary if you're a lefty specialist knowing that the rule change is, you know, coming its way.
Yeah, exactly. It's now this 0-1 to Seidel. It's going to be lined over to short, and he gloves it for out number 1. So another 3 up, 3 down inning. This time on behalf of the Gulls pitching. And heading into the bottom of the 8th, it's still Gulls leading 3-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Where it began.
Bottom of the 8th here in Newport. Gulls lead the Bay Sox 3-0. So we get set for Ryan Tours dueling off against Matt Thomas on the mound for the Bay Sox. Righty on lefty matchup for Thomas on the mound. Tours on the day 0 for 3, but did reach base on an error in the first. So now with his first pitch, he's going to line against the Warehouse on the first base line, 0-1.
I wonder if we'll find that one for sale in the Warehouse.
Now in this righty-lefty matchup, Thomas delivers the 0-1, comes inside, 1-1. For Gulls history buffs, it's a special day in Newport history. It's the 3-year anniversary of the Gulls' only walk-off grand slam. So now this 1-1 to Tours, slider that misses low, 2-1. Grand slam actually came against New Bedford, the Bay Sox, 3 years ago in the 11th inning, off the bat of Steven Scott. Gulls came away with that win, 5-1. Now that 2-1 pitch fanned at 2-2.
Oh, Steven, Matt Thomas has been on point for the Bay Sox since coming in relief in a tough situation. Runners on second and third.
So now this one's going to be lined into left. Tours, nice piece of 2-strike hitting, and he's going to be aboard with the leadoff single here in the 8th.
You know, and right there, that's the first batter that's reached base when Thomas was on the mound. So far, before that hit by Tours, Thomas has been 6 up, 6 down.
Yeah, he retired 6 in a row. And then that one almost had Tours down with 2 strikes. Tours choked up on the bat a little bit, put that one to the opposite side of the field. Now he throws over to Tours, but back sliding head first.
Thomas was like, okay, you're going to get a hit on me? I'm going to try to pick you off. Like, no one reaches base when I'm pitching.
So righty on righty matchup now to Malloy at the plate, but Thomas still not feeling Tours at first. Throws over, but Tours back again.
Especially when you're down by 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Your offense only has,
First pitch to Malloy, breaking ball in there for strike 1.
That's so unfair to Malloy. First pitch with that?
Yeah.
Kidding?
Filthy one, looked like it might come inside. He backed off a little bit, and then it broke for a looking strike 1.
Did it ever break? Oh, my gosh.
Now he's going to throw over to Tours once again. He has something out to get him over there.
Thomas has just been on fire.
It's not like Tours is a big threat to steal, although now they might just send him as this 0-1 tipped into the glove of Buck. 0-2.
Utter filth from Thomas right there.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, his breaking ball is on.
Wow.
Thomas looking on, now looking back over to Tours, of course. It's only fitting. Now this 0-2. Breaking ball. This one does get away from Buck, and moving up to second is Tours. So it was only a matter of time after such perfect breaking balls. That one got away from him.
Just slipped out of the hand of Thomas right there. Good job by Buck. It must be, again, similar conversation when Elijah Brown had to make that tough play over and right, having the brick wall right there. But it has to be to the advantage of a catcher. Really not having a very deep, backstop here.
Yeah, not a lot of room, and so a lot of those balls bounce back quickly. Doesn't give a lot of time for the runners, as this one's going to be chopped over to the third base side. Adams with it, throws to first in time for out number 1. And with that play, I will keep Tours at second. So with 1 away, runners still at second in scoring position for the Gulls as they lead the Bay Sox 3-0 here in the bottom of the 8th.
How great has Adams been at third tonight?
And you said he struggled throughout the season. If you wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have guessed it, because he seems like he's handled everything well. Even a play earlier, it was a tough hop, and he fielded it off the chest, kept it in front of him, and had a nice throw over to first in time as this first pitch to Ceruto on the outside edge for strike 1. And that play with Adams off the chest, a lot of guys don't want to get in front of it and at least knock it down, but he did just that. That's something that they teach you, but a lot
Probably
of guys
in boot camp.
Yeah,
Probably learns that in boot camp.
You're right, but a lot of guys don't take that to heart. Now this one's going to be flown into left. Oncoming is Seidel, and it's going to drop in front of him, but it was kind of an awkward play that Tours couldn't get a read off of, so he held up at second, so no one advances on the play. And with 1 away, there are now runners on first and second for the Gulls.
Kind of a tough play, but I'm interested because both Adams and Blandini really didn't move out of the infield, even knowing it was, a high pop, didn't have too much carry.
And look at Adams' dance moves over there.
Oh, wow. He got a little applause and threw up the hand, and he gave us a little head shake, I got to get out before boot camp.
Now this pitch to Cavalieri over his shoes and into the backstop and into the dugout. And so everyone advances 1 free base up, so runners now on second and third on that wild pitch. Taking a weird hop off the backstop there.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the backstop is like a trampoline. You don't know where it's going to land. It's almost like Plinko back there.
It's the second wild pitch of this inning for Thomas. Now the infield is playing in for New Bedford, all on the edge of the grass. Ready on lefty matchup for Thomas on the mound against Cavalieri. Now this one's going to be grounded back at the plate, and they're going to say it was foul even though it bounced fair, so 1-1.
Home plate umpire said it bounced just before the plate. Thomas working in some trouble. Runners on second and third.
Cavalieri on the day 1 for 3, but he has reached base twice, struck out, but did advance as that ball got away from Buck behind the plate and then doubled later in the righty-lefty matchup. Now this pitch, another breaking ball, but Big swing and a miss from Cavalieri for strike 2. So 1-2 count against the URI left fielder.
Cavalieri looking for a fastball there, didn't get it. Making Cavalieri look a little foolish there.
A little bit on his front foot. Now another slider comes back right with it. It's going to be chopped to Thomas on the mound. And he looked to home plate, but it came out of his glove. Throws to first, not in time, and it's going to get away from Henry. And moving up as everyone coming around to score is Tours. Advancing to third is Ceruto. And advancing to second on the throwing error is Cavalieri. And that throw really wasn't needed. Cavalieri by that time was already at first, but desperate to make a play was Thomas. And that's an unearned run. Really just a mistake.
Yeah, mistakes costly here tonight for the Bay Sox as Chris Cabe takes the ball from Thomas.
Yeah, you're going to see a new pitcher on the mound for New Bedford, and so we'll have more information on the new pitcher for New Bedford in just a moment. Stick with us here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. There's a new pitcher on the mound for the New Bedford Bay Sox here in the bottom of the 8th with runners on second and third. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse.
Yeah, on the mound for the Bay Sox here in the bottom of the 8th, Henry Ennin, Northeastern University pitcher. His 4th appearance of the season, has already pitched in 5 innings and a third. 9 strikeouts on the season, 3 walks, 2 hits. No runs have been given up by him. So Ennin already coming into a tough spot here for the Bay Sox. 1 out in the inning.
And you got to feel for him. I know there's 1 out, but there's runners on second and third, and he's facing the top of the Newport lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, this part of the lineup for Newport has been quiet mid-game, but has definitely come back alive late in this game. You know, 3-0, or 3-0 or 4-0 Newport.
Now Scott Holzwasser settles in for the Gulls. Righty on righty matchup for Ennin at the mound, as you see or hear some kids getting riled up. This first pitch misses up for ball 1. Trying to get in the mind of Ennin a little bit, the new reliever for the Bay Sox.
And if I'm Ennin, I'm just trying to stop the bleeding right here. You can't give up, any more runs.
Now big swing and a miss from Holzwasser and a fastball at the top edge of the zone. 1-1.
The Bay Sox sit 1-6, in the wins and loss columns in game 8. And then trying to just put the Bay Sox offense in the best position possible with only 3 outs remaining for them in the top of the 9th.
Infield is in for the Bay Sox, and now another big swing and a miss. Had a fastball up in the zone. 1-2.
Big groan from the audience here, the dedicated Gulls fans that have sticked around tonight.
I think they're used to Holzwasser laying off those pitches, but I think his eyes got a little bit big on those 2 fastballs up in the zone. I think he thought he could get the barrel on him. Is now another 1-2 pitch going to be lined off the glove of a jumping Hart into right. 1 run will score. They're going to send Cavalieri around, and he's going to score easily. Meanwhile, at second is Holzwasser, as he was tagged, but the ball came out of Hart, and so he is aboard second. Still 1 away as 2 runs came in for the Gulls.
And right there, that's a mistake you can't really give Cavalier. Now 6-0 Gulls here in the bottom of the 8th.
And it's tough to say what will rule that. I think the tag would have been made in time. We're looking over to the official scorer, whether or not they're going to rule that a double or a single. Single with an error at the end of it. I think that's appropriate because I think the tag was there in time completely as this first pitch catches the outside edge to Gustin. 0-1. Tag was there in time, and it just popped out the glove of Henry. So Gulls now up 6-0 here in the bottom of the 8th with a runner on second. 0-1 pitch breaking ball. Gustin pops back into the screen. 0-2.
They gave it an E9.
Oh, an E9.
But wouldn't it be an?
I think it would be an E4.
An E4, and they're changing
an
it.
E4. Now this pitch misses up and away. So count 1 and 2.
And they're going to change it to an E4.
Yeah, throw came from the right fielder, but then second baseman was the one that it popped out of his glove. So an E4 in the official scorebook. Single for Holzwasser as he had 2 RBIs on the play. Gustin looking on the 1-2, choking up on his bat, and he's going to swing and line this one back into the screen. Count remains. So the Gulls have plated 3 here in the 8th. And they've worked through now a second reliever on the mound in the Bay Sox.
Errors costly here tonight for the Bay Sox. That's the 4th error on the night.
And it is a tough one for them. I mean, just the uncostly mistakes have led to a lot of chances for the Gulls, especially in this inning. So now this 1-2 pitch to Gustin's going to be flown into left, slicing towards Seidel, and he's there for a long out, number 2.
The E4 for the second baseman, Brian Hart, 4th error of the season. So defensive woes continue for Brian Hart.
So 4 errors tonight for New Bedford, 2 coming in this inning alone. Now it's a righty-on-righty matchup for Hudson Haskin at the plate. Henry Ennin on the mound for the Bay Sox. First pitch breaking ball misses low and away, 1-0.
You know, it has been a conversation between, you know, the coaching staff about Brian Hart's defense, but his bat is just too good to not put him in the field.
Now this 1-0 is going to be tipped into the glove of Buck, so 1-1. Haskin on the night, 2 for 3, pair of singles, was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Grounded out back to the pitcher his last time up in the 7th.
But maybe tonight's not a good night to bring up that Hart's been, you know, swinging good for the Bay Sox. 3 strikeouts on the night.
Well, I tell you what, we talk about New Bedford's 1-6 record, and it's a tough goal for them tonight. Obviously, 6-0 as now this pitch going to be swung at and missed from Haskin. And we could talk about this more in the next inning in the 9th, because I know we're going to be running out of time here with 2 outs, but their pitching has a 5.02 ERA. Opponents are hitting .293 off of them. That's the second highest in the league, 5.02 ERA. One of the worst in the NECBL right now as well. But I don't think that's everything. Now this pitch is going to be lined back into the screen. When you look underneath the hood a little bit, they've only given up 27 walks, which is very good, but they have a 2.79 ERA at home. They've given up no home runs at home, and their road ERA is 7.03, 4 home runs, and 5 doubles. And that is the second highest. And you look at who they played on the road. You guys have gone to Keene. You guys have gone to Danbury. Now this one's going to be chopped back into the screen. Where else have you guys gone?
The Vineyard.
The Vineyard. Is that a small park as well?
It's a tough park to play. Hard infield.
Ocean State, which
State.
isn't a big park. And so you guys have gone to all these small parks.
Here tonight's,
it's not a big park.
It's not a big park, but
a lot of doubles here.
Yeah, I mean.
And so these bloated ERAs, it makes your pitching staff look bad, but really it's just a lot of park effects that have made the stats look worse than they really are. I think it's only a matter of time until these numbers even out and the record evens out as well. As now Hudson Haskin is sent down swinging for strike 3 here in the 8th. But Gulls do plate 3 here in the 8th to extend the lead to 6-0. Heading into the 9th, they do lead the New Bedford Bays 6-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the 9th here in Newport. Gulls lead the Bay Sox 6-0 here at Cardines, and there is a new pitcher on the mound for the Gulls. It's the Missouri right-handed pitcher Cameron Fair. Fair, rising junior from Missouri in 2019. Now, he has a bloated ERA, 16.2, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Only pitched 1 2/3 innings pitched. Gave up 3 runs, all of them earned, but only gave up 3 hits. But he did have 3 strikeouts in those 1 2/3. So that doesn't tell us much. In 2018, for what it's worth, 2.98 ERA in 9 1/3 innings pitched. Gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, had 9 strikeouts in those 9 1/3 innings pitched. So he's a high strikeout guy out of the bullpen. So the ERA numbers may not give you the whole story, but you look at the strikeout numbers in the small amount of innings, and I think that goes to show the kind of pitcher that he really is on the mound. So now this first pitch, big swing and a miss from Brian Hart for strike 1.
Yeah, and I mean, an ERA in baseball is almost just like an average in baseball. You know, it
So
doesn't
much
tell you
wiggle
on
room.
base percentage. It doesn't tell you slugging, and
Now this 0-1 pitch to Hart misses up for ball 1. And with the small sample size, it can vary so much, too.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it could just be, as simple as comes into a tough situation, and that, it doesn't, an ERA.
Right, as this pitch misses outside. 2-1.
An ERA doesn't tell you the whole story.
So that will officially end the day for Sam Jacobsack. He pitched 1 inning, didn't give up a hit. Obviously didn't give up a run because he didn't give up a walk either. As this pitch is chopped foul along the third base line. But he did have 2 strikeouts on the day, so another successful outing for Jacobsack on the mound. Now Fair does have 2 appearances for the Gulls already this summer. He's gone 4 1/3 innings pitched, has only given up 1 hit, does have 3 walks, but he has 6 strikeouts. So another great showing of high strikeouts in innings pitched, and he gets a strikeout right on cue against Brian Hart here to start off the night.
And I know you're down 6 runs here, but you have to show some sign of life here if you're trying to win ball games. Tough spot for Brian Hart, especially after committing an error in the last inning. But
now his first pitch to Elijah Brown misses up for ball 1. Fair looking on, righty on lefty matchup. Delivers a 1-0 fastball that's going to be cranked into center. Going back is Haskin, but settling underneath it for out number 2. So Fair working quickly here in the 9th. 2 up, 2 down so far. Gulls have worked through the most pitchers in any game here tonight. They are on their 5th pitcher.
what hasn't helped the Bay Sox, 11 strikeouts for the Bay Sox offense tonight.
Yeah, that's tough. And the Gulls do strike out teams at a high rate as that first pitch catches the outside edge for strike 1. And check that. That's actually ties the most pitchers used for the Newports on the season in a single game. So now this 0-1 pitch blown back into the screen, 0-2.
Gotta give it so far to the Gulls bullpen here tonight. Really been able to shut down any offense that has been shown on the Bay Sox, even though it has been slim life.
Yeah, and the Gulls have really been led by their pitching staff all season as this pitch is fouled back into the screen. So we'll go again with an 0-2 count. 85 strikeouts through 65 innings pitched coming into this game. Very high rate. Last time out, Peters, the starter, had 9 Ks. Sansone, 8 strikeouts through 4 innings pitched. And then here tonight, obviously with 9 strikeouts already. Now Fair, 10 actually, as Fair gets a ground out over to second to wrap things up here in the 9th. So the Gulls get their 5th win of the season, 2nd over the New Bedford Bay Sox in this one by a score of 6-0. Don't go anywhere. Gulls pregame show coming up next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Zach Letson, getting you guys caught up in tonight's post-game recap as the Newport Gulls pick up their 5th win of the season, improving to 5-3 on the year, as the New Bedford Bay Sox drop to 1-7. Newport coming away with this victory by a score of 6-0. the second matchup between these two sides. Obviously, the first one ending in 11 innings, an exciting ending to that one. Newport won that one by a score of 3-1, and then this one 6-0. A couple of unearned runs, costly errors from New Bedford. Starting in this game for Newport was Justin Cherry. He went 5 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, no runs, walked 3 batters while striking out 6. Then it was a bullpenning game from there on out. We got 4 pitchers coming in for Newport, all pitching 1 inning of relief. First was Grisbinski. He didn't give up a hit, walked 2 batters, didn't strike out anybody. Then Dylan Brown of Cal State Fullerton. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks while striking out 1. And then following him was Sam Jacobsack, who pitched another inning of relief, didn't give up a hit or runs or any walks, and he got 2 strikeouts. And then Cameron Farrer to close out the game in the 9th with the strikeout in a 1-2-3 inning. On the other side of things for New Bedford, Julian Washburn, 3 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 2 walks with 2 strikeouts. And then from there, Kyle Johnson, Matt Thomas in for relief. And that's kind of when the hits started piling up, but really towards the end of the game, the unforced errors that kind of cost them in the 8th inning with those 3 extra runs tacked on.
Yeah, unfortunate loss here tonight for the Bay Sox following on the season 1-7. You know, I was, coming here today early on. If the Bay Sox won tonight, the season starts to turn around. Had a win last game, off day yesterday, and then you start moving on. If you move to 2-6, you can add some life, but now going 1-7, it makes it even tougher, and especially knowing Newport is in the same division as the Bay Sox. So if you're the Bay Sox, you definitely want to win the divisional games. If you go 50-50 with a team that's outside of your division, then you can kind of, okay, you went 500. But especially when you start losing, now, the Bay Sox are 0-2 on the season to the Gulls here. You have to win those divisional games, because if you start trying to make a run, you get on a 5-6 game win streak, these losses are going to come back later on in the season, and it's going to be costly for the Bay Sox.
I will say this. We talked about it towards the end of the broadcast. It's a long season, and some things will kind of average out for New Bedford because they're a quality team, and I think it's just only a matter of time. For New Bedford, hitting-wise, they got 2 runs early in the first, 1 in the 6th, and then 3 later on in the 8th inning. Couple of unearned runs, though. Couple of guys that stood out to me. Peter Ceruto in the 8-hole went 2 for 4 today with a double and a single and a run scored. And then Greg Cavalieri reached base 3 times, doubled with a single and a run scored. On the other side, who stood out to you in the lineup for New Bedford?
I mean, it has to be Thomas Blandini. Again, struggling offense, 11 strikeouts recorded by the Newport Gulls pitching, getting to strike out really to the heart of the lineup, getting to retire Shamet. Shamet really went, 1 for 4 on the night, and then also Jeremiah Adams also, 0 for 3 on the night. It just kind of you move down the lineup and you start seeing, only 1 hit here, 1 for 4, 1 for 3, 0 for 4, Brian Hart with a golden sombrero, 4 strikeouts on the night for Brian Hart. So again, you have, consistent bat for mostly the season. When you start striking guys out, 4 strikeouts in a game, you just can't really have that. And another tough loss here tonight by the Bay Sox.
Tough loss for the Bay Sox as the Gulls beat New Bedford 6-0 and improved to 5-3 on the year. New Bedford now 1-7. I'm going to let Alex Fuse off the hook. I know you got a bus ride up to New Bedford.
Oh, yeah.
Bus to catch and bus ride back up. So, Alex, thank you for joining me today. It's a pleasure, as always.
It's always a pleasure, Stephen.
Safe travels back.
Thank you. Great job tonight on the score updates.
Job, Alex. Thank you very much.
See you next Monday.
Absolutely.
We'll be back here next Monday.
We'll be back here next Monday. So
just camp out here.
Yeah, you're always welcome. Oh. Safe travels back up to New Bedford, and then we'll see you back Monday. Safe travels back here. So
thank you.
I'm going to send it over to Zach Letson, the field reporter, for more of a post-game recap while I go find tonight's player of the game. Zach, take it away.
Thank you, Steven. So, as Steven mentioned, the Gulls picking up win number 5 on the season. They continue their winning ways. 4th win in the last 5 games for the Gulls, as I'll be joined here shortly by John Perrick, the Director of Marketing for the Gulls. And we'll go over the past week and how these Gulls have managed to stay so hot, winners of 4 of their last 5 games. As we look across the league, Ocean State continuing to put their foot on the gas pedal, now up 10-4 over the Danbury Westerners. The Westerners, after a 5-0 start, staring at loss number 3 in a row. And as we look across the league, Martha's Vineyard taking on North Adams. That game all knotted up in the 9th inning, top of the 9th, at 6. And the Sanford Mainers picking up win number 3, a tight 3-2 victory in their North Division matchup against the Winnipesaukee Muskrats. And I'm now joined by Director of Marketing for the Gulls, and we will go over, some of the how these Gulls have managed to stay so hot. Winners of 4 of their last 5 contests, and when you look at guys at the plate who have stepped up, one of the guys that has to come to mind is catcher Colton Bender, John.
But what we've seen out of Colton Bender so far is he's been able to control the run game, unlike the past. That's one thing about this Newport Gulls team. It's the fact that you're not going to beat them because they're going to beat themselves. And what I mean by that is Colton Bender has been the reason why, for the most part behind the dish, why the Newport Gulls have been able to defensively shut down opposing teams. And we saw it again tonight with Newport not letting themselves beat them.
Yeah, and it's really been a complete effort for the Gulls. Pitcher Mike Sansone earning NECBL Pitcher of the Week honors. And he threw 4 shutout complete perfect innings against in their last win before tonight's game. We're now going to send it down to Stephen Huff with the Newport Gulls Player of the Game.
Thank you, Zach. I'm here with tonight's Player of the Game, Greg Cavalieri. And of course, you went 2 for 4, double and a run scored. What was working out there for you tonight?
Just trying to see the ball deep. They got me in my first at bat with a changeup. Next at bat, my second one, double. I just saw a changeup up and got around it, got a double out of it.
So Coach has been working you at the bottom of the lineup a lot of times. You've been kind of that guy to spark the lineup with the 9-hole as it flips over. What's that like?
With the 9-hole, a lot of the time, I feel like I'm leading off innings. So it's good. It's good that I can get on base and have a spot. I got pretty good speed, having good hitters behind me after that, so it really helps out to score some runs if I'm getting on base.
And, of course, in the spring you play ball over just 30 minutes away at URI. So what's it like now playing summer ball here at Newport?
I mean, it's fun. The past 2 summers I've been in Western Massachusetts. Good times. Newport's great. Got to be maybe my favorite summer so far. So, I mean, it's really fun to be able to be around some classmates, teammates, and even see coaches once in a while because they're around.
All right, well, nice work out there tonight. We're going to send it back up to you in the booth. Zach, take it away.
Thank you so much, Stephen. As we, continue this post-game show here, the Gulls picking up win number 5, a 6-0 win over the New Bedford Bay Sox, their second win on the season against the Bay Sox. And John and I continue to look back at this week. It's been a great week for the Gulls, and looking at the outstanding performance of Mike Sansone, 8.1 innings of shutout ball, including 4 perfect innings Saturday night, John.
And it's really impressive. You look at his 15 strikeouts this season, and as you mentioned before we went down to the field, is he gets the honors of the Player of the Week from the mound. And really, Sansone, he has been a humongous contribution to that bullpen, and it's a great sign to see Newport finding, of course we saw it tonight, a shutout victory, and it's a good sign, of course, to see some good pitching here in Newport.
Yeah, and as we look back in this game specifically, starting pitching all around for the Gulls was outstanding. Justin Cherry going 5 innings, getting the win, all shutout performance, of course, as it was a 6-0 win, 6 strikeouts on the night, and then it was a complete team effort in terms of the bullpen that went the distance for the shutout win. And it's been impressive, as we've noticed the last few games with winning, with great pitching for the Gulls, has come consecutive W's as we look here.
No, absolutely. And I think that tonight we saw maybe Newport's most impressive win of the season. Of course, it might battle with their Ocean State victory last Tuesday. However, tonight we saw more of a complete team victory.
And now we're going to send it back to Stephen Huff, who is going to conclude the NECBL broadcast.
So the Gulls won tonight over the Bay Sox by a score of 6-0, and we'll be back in action on Wednesday here at Cardines against the Mystic Schooners in Tiverton Little League night. For tonight, I'd like to thank our executive producer and director, Tom Lima, producer Shannon Carlson, audio technician Arthur Smith, on-site engineer Nick Bello, social media coordinator John Semino, statistician Michael Garman, field reporter Zach Letzen, and the voice of the New Bedford Bay Sox, Alex Fuse. I'm the voice of the Newport Gulls, Stephen Hoff, saying goodnight from the city by the sea.